Shouldering his spear, he strode off up the canyon. There was still time to get a little sleep at least. Behind him, he could hear Rand chuckling. Oh, hey, good morning, guys.
That is right. I think we're live.
Yeah, we're not sure because last time we weren't live when we thought we were live, and so we're gonna try not to make that mistake again. How you guys doing? Good morning.
Good morning,
Type ship captain if you can see us.
Everything worked on YouTube for a while.
Yeah,
and now YouTube doesn't work anymore, and we don't know what happened.
Changed it a little bit, anyways. We're good.
It doesn't matter. We're live now, and we have some housekeeping to take care of before we jump into this week's section of the Wheel of Time. This is the Shadow Rising, chapters 40 through 50. Not the end of the book. It's episode 4, but it's not the end of the book. Blue, thank you for joining.
Thank you for being a 5-month member of the Nerd Table.
Before we went live, we also had 2 people join the chat, Cyanat and Bitstorm, right? Yes, Bitstorm. Thank you so much for joining the Nargs.
Thank you, guys.
Before we get into the episode, we do want to mention that today's episode of the Nerdy Wordy Book Club is brought to you by Audible. Audible is a place where you can have books, but they're audible.
Yes, books, but you hear them.
Books, but you hear them. That's right.
Books, but
Audible is the audiobook service that you can have on pretty much any device, and you can sign up using our code. Go to audibletrial.com/nerdynightly. Again, that's audibletrial.com/nerdynightly. And not only can you sign up and hear books, but you also get a free book for signing up.
What?
You get a 1-month free trial using our code, and you get a free book.
A free book? Well, if you hate staring at the same 26 letters over again, Audible's the one for you.
That was good.
Thank you. I thought it was great.
It didn't hit as hard as if you don't like staring at the dead husks of trees.
I mean,
you're a little less metal this week.
Yeah.
Also, y'all, so next week, there will not be, no, that's not next week. Next week, we're in Jamaica.
Yes.
So realistically, we are hoping that we're going to be able to live stream next Friday. We're not sure if that's going to work. So the plan is we fly to Jamaica on Monday.
Yes.
Monday night, we're going to test stream from our hotel.
Yeah.
And see if streaming is possible.
So if you're around Monday night, you'll probably see us being like, are we?
Yeah.
What?
If it is not possible, next week, the finale of this book will still go live at 11 a.m. on Friday. It just won't be a live show. It'll be a pre-tape. But we still want to get your thoughts on the end of the book into that episode. And so if you want to, much like we do with our full book recaps, go into the questions Discord channel and put in your thoughts about the last 8 chapters of the novel so that we can bring them into that show if we can't do it live.
Yes. We will let you guys know Monday night or Tuesday morning at the latest whether or not it's going to be live or whether or not we are going to open up that questions channel to do a pre-taped show. Sorry guys, it is what it is. You know, we're going to try and make it work.
And the week after that, there will not be a Wheel of Time book club because we will be doing the Star Wars book club. We're going to be at Star Celebration. So the Friday after that will also be a pre-taped show. That is going to be our panel from Star Wars Celebration covering the book Brotherhood by Mike Chen with our very special guest Darth Chaco from TikTok and from YouTube. So we're really excited for that special episode. And we'll get into the full book recap the week after that.
Absolutely. Bob C, thank you so much for the super chat.
Bob C says getting down to it, which you know what that means.
It's time to get down to it.
We should get down to it and maybe get jiggy with it. Clarisse, we're almost at the end of the book.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Shadow Rising? I ask you this every week.
So far it's definitely my favorite book.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
Hell yes. Of the Wheel of Time, this is the best. This is the best book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. There's so much to it, and there's so much that's setting up for the future, and there's so many things that are answered. There's really interesting new characters that are being introduced and developed. So far, definitely my favorite. My favorite book, yes.
Yeah, the full book recap for this book is going to be really hard.
Yeah, there's gonna be so much to cover.
Because I could do a month of full book recaps where we do 1 week that's just about Perrin, 1 week that's just about Matt, 1 week that's just about Rand, and 1 week that's just about Elayne.
And then 1 week
Nynaeve.
that's just Ruidian.
Yeah, and then a week that's just Ruidian.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. I think that what's so fun about the Shadow Rising in relation to the previous books in the series is that it really is where the series, I think, has started to become its own thing. Whereas, like, the tropes and storytelling devices that Robert Jordan used in the first 3 books, I have read before, right? And it was his writing style, his prose is so good that I enjoyed reading those tropes again because he made them his own, and that's what good writers do. This is the book where he has completely moved beyond that and is like, I'm going to create fantasy in a new way. I'm going to make my version of this from the ground up. And particularly in how he wrote the Ruidian stuff, this book has really gone beyond what I think a lot of fantasy I've read has.
Yes.
And I can understand why this is one of the all-time great series, because this book really does cement that for me. This book is so well written. It's so intentional and beautiful. We're seeing new prophecies given to the audience while we're seeing the fulfillment of old prophecies that we've read before. I really just... I'm really just consistently shocked by the constant upping of the stakes and upping of the quality of this book as we've been going through it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I really love like book 4," and I'm one of those people that's like, "Yeah, okay, sure, like I'll make my own mind up when I get to it." And you guys are right. You guys are 100% right. I've got my braids in solidarity with Gawyn.
Yeah,
that
sometimes
is a nice touch.
Sometimes the general consensus is correct.
So, yeah, sometimes things that people like are good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Intrinsical says you guys ain't seen nothing yet. I hope so. I hope it just keeps getting better.
That's the idea, right? That's the goal. That would make nothing would make me happier.
Yeah. All right. So shall we get into book chapter 40?
All right, guys, buckle up.
Perrin, we catch up with Perrin.
Yeah.
Who is now my favorite boy. Rantamar, thank you so much
for the
super chat. Could list to y'all, I'll reaffirm my love of these books all day. Much love. Thank you, man. Appreciate
thank
that.
you.
We catch up with Perrin and his companions. Perrin's got his own little armada of farm boys. And they're out there taking out Trollocs.
Hunting Trollocs.
Yeah.
These Two Rivers boys are like, you know what? We're soldiers now.
Brother Tom is a captain. Thank you so much for that super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
At long last, no spoilers, the thespian nerdies parts have now been revealed. Clarus is a picture perfect Savannah. Dealer's choice for nerdy Couladin, or my choice for you, just seem to tell.
Nice.
I would much rather be Ruark, but I can play a little bit. I can be Couladin being all like, where's my brother?
I could see it. I'm excited to meet Savannah now. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
So, we spend a lot of time with these boys, Daniel and Will, and we meet this like little ragtag company of heroes that Perrin has put together that he is inspiring greatness out of, and we get them kind of going around, taking out Trollocs, and we start to. I feel like the fear that I had about Fades at the beginning of this series is kind of cracked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Fades are apparently very easy to kill.
I wouldn't say very easy.
Sorry, Fades consistently die to people who I'm a little bit like, oh, I didn't think they would be able to pull that off.
You didn't think Perrin has killed a bunch of Fades?
That's my point.
Oh.
Perrin has never taken a blow from a Fade, but he kills them literally all the time. And the first book was like, Lan is like the one guy that can do it. And now I'm like, most of our main characters kill Fades semi-regularly.
Perrin grew up. Perrin got good. I don't know what to tell you. Perrin got good.
We get to a point in this section where after the fight, which we'll get to, where I'm like, oh, you literally need like hundreds of Trollocs in order for them to be scary now. Like 10 Trollocs. In the first book, 10 Trollocs was horrifying. And now we're at the point where I'm like, I mean, Perrin could like kill 10 Trollocs with one blow.
Yeah, our characters are growing up. No, I like it. I like it that like the scope and the scale of things is just getting bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah, but I also think that like the only threat right now feels like it's like Slayer and the Forsaken. Like a Fade showing up doesn't bring with it the same. I just don't think a Fade is all that scary. Now, I feel like they've been kind of nerfed. And Drakkar now are completely... We'll get to the Drakkar at the end of this section, but Drakkar are completely different now from the first book.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get to it.
Okay, we'll get to it.
But, like, I feel like... I think my only reason I bring it up is I feel like the consistency around the... Other than the Trollocs feel very consistent, but the consistency around the Drakkar and the Fades feels a little up and down for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, if you say so. I don't think I agree with you, but we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah. So Faile and the Faile returns from Emond's Field, having gotten everyone to Emond's Field. Mm-hmm. She actually was willing to listen to Perrin and not just stick by his side. She was like, yeah, okay, I'll go do that. You do this. We'll meet up in a bit.
Yeah.
And we meet because they find Perrin because Perrin has been at the graves of his family.
Yeah, that was very sad. Reading that, I was like, my heart hurts. Like it was beautiful. It was beautifully done, and the reminiscing of it all. But like, I feel so bad for Perrin, because what was it? 14 members of his family.
Yeah.
That he buried 14 members of his immediate and extended family were killed and buried here. And like I literally like can't imagine, you know? And it got to me. It was really well written. And the fact that Perrin isn't like dwelling on it, the fact that like in these chapters he's like he's like, nope, this is not he's not time for grieving, take care of the living. That whole like narrative that he has going for him where he doesn't like let himself get caught up in it is heartbreaking.
Yeah. With Faile coming back from Emond's Field is the new least favorite character of the franchise for me, Lord Luke.
Least favorite? Okay.
I can't stand.
Okay.
I can't stand. Mm-hmm. Partially because, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I don't care if he's a dark friend or not. Like, I just don't care. And so, like, the mystery around Lord Luke to me, like, oh, is he bad? Is he good? I don't know who he is. He's just pompous and kind of a dick. And, like, whether he's good or not doesn't matter to me. I don't like him.
I mean, for me, it's all about, like, whether or not Emond's Field is going to hold or fall because of him. Like, I think what's going to happen at the end of this book is going to be because of Lord Luke, whether or not, like, half the village gets slaughtered or they're able to, like, hold their own against the Trollocs. So, so I don't, like, care about him as, like, a person, but he's very important to what happens next, and so I do care. I
don't know. I think that part of the reason why I find him frustrating is because he's written in a way that seems like he's written in a way that seems like it is for the audience to feel like he's a mystery.
Yeah.
And I compliment Robert Jordan so often on how he writes, like, convenience and things like that and how things come together. Mm-hmm. And with Lord Luke, it's a little bit of a, like, I get it. You want me to think that he's evil.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost, like, a little bit too heavy-handed.
You mean, like, Celine is Lanfear? Like...
Yeah.
He's, like, very obviously, like, not a good person. Whether or not he's,
John
like...
Lord Luke Picard. That's very funny, Eric.
That is very good. That's great. Yeah, Lord Luke is, like you said, like, I don't really care about him as a character, right? But I do care about the role that he has to play.
Oh, for sure. I just mean, like, in the reading of him, I'm like, I get it. You're not going to tell me either way. It's going to be a reveal at a moment where it matters. So, like, this conversation doesn't matter because it's the same conversation as the last one, where we're just kind of getting the same, like, I'm a dick, and maybe I'm a bad guy, and then I'm gonna leave.
Well, yeah, and, like...
he does this, and it's this, every time he shows up, he does the exact same thing.
And we find out later that he knows who Ordeith is, which automatically is like so sus.
But he doesn't like Ordeith.
No.
Which means that
no.
But so here's what's interesting, right? The Trollocs are there hunting Ordeith. We find that out in this section, right? And so the Trollocs are hunting Ordeith because Ordeith has turned from the Dark One. Therefore, I think Lord Luke is a dark friend for the Dark One who isn't there for Emond's Field. He's there for Ordeith. He is the assassin that the Dark One has sent to kill Padden Fane.
Okay.
Which is interesting. I'm kind of good with, I'm fine with the, like, we don't need this red herring constantly.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, that's, okay. I don't know if I think, I don't know if I don't know exactly why he's there, but I don't feel like it's that. Like, I don't think he's there hunting Ordeith for the Dark One.
Why not?
I don't know.
You say that as if it's not, like, as if that doesn't make any sense.
Because he's spending his time with the Emond's Fielders and, like, helping them out. Whereas if he wanted to find Ordeith, he should have befriended the Whitecloaks.
But he can't, because that's where Ordeith is. He would have to be around Ordeith and people who are working for Ordeith to do that. That doesn't make...
Yeah.
What?
You have to get close to Ordeith to be able to, like, capture him.
But if Ordeith knows who he is, then he can't do that.
Why would Ordeith know who he is?
Because they both used to work for the Dark One.
Yeah, but, like, the Dark One's social, everyone had their faces covered.
Yeah, but we don't... But I'm saying, like, we don't know. We don't know if they know each other, right?
Okay.
So it's entirely possible that he is trying to hunt Padden Fane.
Okay, I can see it. I don't know.
It makes sense that the Dark One is going after Padden Fane. I like Cease Army thinks that, personally, I think Lord Luke is a trout.
Same. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with you on why he's there, but I could see it being a possibility for sure.
So we get past Lord Luke leaves, but the Aiel have found some more Trollocs for them to go hunt, and so they're like, "All right, we're gonna go set a trap." And
very important to note that the Aiel tell them about the Trollocs while Lord Luke is still there.
Yeah. And so they set this trap, and the Trollocs do fall right into their trap, just, from behind.
That's not what?
They like stumble into it just from the wrong direction, and so it's like, oh no.
Yeah, I don't think
bad things.
I don't think it's a trap at that point personally, but okay. There's also the part where we find out that Alana has gone off by herself twice, and once without her warder.
Yeah.
Which was strange, because her warder was like.
Why is that strange?
Well, because normally they're in the middle of danger. You would think that, like, because he didn't know where she went. Yeah,
but Aes Sedai do that literally all the time. It's not even out of character for the Aes Sedai in the scene. Varen went across country without telling her warder.
Okay,
the other Aes Sedai here, like, literally.
It's worth noting because we don't know if Alana is sus yet or not. Okay.
I'm just saying I don't. Like, nothing Aes Sedai do is weird to me. I'm like, yeah, they're weird. They just do whatever they want. They don't care.
All right, fine.
I don't think they tell their warders anything at this point. Moraine regularly lies to Lan. Throughout these novels, we have seen nothing but Aes Sedai lying to their warders. It's not like we have, like, consistently seen the Aes Sedai and their warders having this really trusting bond.
No, you are correct.
Thomas spent an entire book being like, I don't know where Varen went.
I know.
She just left one day.
The warder Aes Sedai relationship is a little, off.
Well, and they're all different, and that's what I like about it, right? What I think is so amazing about the warder and Aes Sedai idea is that it's not one thing, and that every time we meet new warders and Aes Sedai, their relationships to each other is different, and it's unique to their bond. And that's what makes it really awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Alana going off and doing her own thing. If she's a dark friend, then all the freaking Aes Sedai are dark friends. Like,
I don't think
there are no good Aes Sedai left.
No, like, I don't think she's a dark friend. But, like, I don't know if she's, like, I don't know what everyone has ulterior motives, right? Drek, thank you for joining the Nerd Table for 4 months.
So the attack happens, and a Madral pops out behind Perrin. And he's like, 2 rivers to me, and nobody comes. And this Fade is like, yo, what's up, dude? And he's like, Faile. And the Murdrell's like, your Faile was delicious.
Oh my god. I hate it.
So Perrin murders the F out of him, despite the fact that he has a big old bolt in his...
He has a giant arrow, like a barbed arrow embedded in his bones.
This is much like the end of Force Awakens, when Kylo Ren has been shot by Chewie's blaster, and he's trying to fight in the woods, and he's hurt, and he just keeps hitting, and he's like, I'm gonna get angry, and it's gonna make me fight better. Except in this case, it's a Fade, and not Rey Skywalker. Yes.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. When you're in a life or death situation, obviously your adrenaline goes. I've never been in that kind of situation, so you get like kind of super strength endurance, and so he pushes through, kills this Fade. He rallies the boys, and or no, wait. Does he kill the Fade? No, it's the warder who
Yvonne shows up and cleaves the Fade. Yeah.
Right.
But he's like taking it. You're right. He's taking it to the Fade. He's keeping up.
Yeah.
But Yvonne shows up, and everyone they win the fight because the warder.
Yeah, Ivan shows up and is like, you need to get the people together, and
27 of them are dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And Perrin like names them all, and he's like.
And they're going through the names, and I'm like, I think I've read some of those names before in the book.
That looks kind of familiar. Eric, welcome back to the
nerd
table.
But if you were worried
all day and eating cookies in bed.
If you were worried about any of our main characters being hurt,
don't worry.
They're fine.
Don't worry. Yeah, Thomas needed a couple weeks off. I think that's why Perrin left. For sure.
Perrin is hurt. And so they're like, God, we got to get you back. And Perrin is like, I can walk. And Faile, get on your horse. And she's like, no. And this is where we start like a 3-chapter arc of me being like, Perrin, just shut up. Just shut up and let people take care of you.
Yeah.
You are literally dying.
Well, because he's like, put the wounded on the horses. And Faile's like, yeah, put the wounded on the horses.
He's like,
right,
fine.
I did say that. I did.
And so we are back. Chapter 41, among the Tuatha'an. We get Rayan, we get Aram, we get Ela.
Yeah.
We get our Tinkers back from book 1. We have not seen these people in like 4 months our time.
Yeah, that was cool. It was
Ricardo's channel, thank you for joining the
Nerds.
Thank
you for joining the nerd table. We appreciate it.
So we're back among the Tuatha'an, and this is mostly a healing montage. You know, we get a little bit of information about the Tuatha'an, but mostly what happens here is Faile holds Perrin down. But it's not kinky. And Ila is like, dude, this thing is in him.
Yeah, she's like, you know what? I'm not gonna touch it. I'm gonna let someone else who knows what they're doing.
Before we get into the tent though, or into the wagon, I love that the Two Rivers boys are all like around Perrin, and he rides up to the Tuatha'an, and he knows all the greetings. And all the Two Rivers boys are like...
All the Two Rivers boys are like, what?
How do you know the fires?
He's like, but I do not know the song. And they're like, what? Is he good?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a fun moment. Here's the thing. Perrin has an incredible memory. If that were me, and that was like, what, a year...
Over.
And a half ago?
Yeah.
If that was a year and a half, I would not remember any of their names. I would not remember any of the greetings.
Perrin has been to like 10 countries. He's met like 4,000 people.
Yeah.
He's fought 1,000 battles. And he's like, I know word for word every word the Tuatha'an need me to say right now.
I was like, did you practice that? Like, because like, I'm very impressed. I am very impressed.
And greetings he only heard once and has never said himself, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's an impressive memory.
God damn. I need
there
that.
There are shows that I have done more than 100 times that if you were to ask me what the words to those shows were right now, I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel
Yeah.
So yeah, it's basically healing and dreaming. Is what we get in this chapter.
Well, and what a dream it is. Oh, or no, we don't get to the dream here. What this is we get Perrin and Faile have an honest conversation with each other for the first time.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, Fail's full on noble.
Mm-hmm.
Faile is like Daddy Warbucks rich.
Yeah, he finally like asks her who her dad is, and she's like, he has almost as long of a title as Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah, her dad is like,
he's got a full title. He's cousin to the queen, as well as her basically like captain of the guard.
Yeah,
from what I understand, and also like is a merchant. Like his people deal with all the things that Faile was talking about.
Yeah,
which and she said that she was. Because her 2 older brothers died, she was the eldest to take over the family business and had to like study all these things.
It would be kind of like if you met Jeff Bezos' daughter and she was like, oh yeah, my dad sells books. And you're like, yeah, because he fucking owns Amazon.
My dad sells books.
Yeah, it's the same thing, right? It's like, oh yeah, no, my dad's a shepherd in that he owns 10,000 fields of sheep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Matthew, welcome
thank you for
back to the
Big
nerd
Narg
table.
energy.
Big Narg
I
energy.
need that shirt.
Big Narg energy.
I need a Big Narg energy shirt.
We keep saying we need all these shirts.
I know.
Uncle. Okay, sorry. I was like, there is a relationship there.
No, yeah, uncle to the queen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which makes Faile the cousin to the queen.
Yeah. So,
Jason Renner, thank you for that super chat.
Jason Renner, thank you so much. This is going to be very important in like 2 books from now.
Yeah.
Like
when they finally get to Saldia, because we've never been to Saldia, right?
No, I don't think so.
And then in return, Faile's like, so are you gonna? So I just opened up. I just told you the truth. Oh, and Perrin's reaction to it is like, women are so weird. She's so rich. Why would she marry a farmer? And I'm like, dude,
no.
You've saved her life like how many times? You're a big hunky warrior man.
Yeah.
You're Taviran.
Yeah. Like, obviously.
So then she's like, are you going to tell me about the whole wolf brother thing? And he's like,
oh, that.
That's fair. You know what? No, you got me.
Yeah.
No, but I love to that. He has the internal moment of like, she was honest with me. I should.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I probably should.
Yeah.
And
it took him long enough, but.
I'm really grateful that Robert Jordan condensed this. He condensed it down to, and then he told her the truth.
Yes.
Because I didn't want to read like 4 pages of him.
We were there for the 3.5 book development of it. We get it.
And her response is like, all right, can we call you King of the Wolves to my parents? It'll just go down better, but I think they're gonna like you.
Yeah. She's like, my mom. If you can slice a Trolloc in half. That's what matters. Honestly.
She would prefer if you did it with a sword, but I guess an axe will do.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, all right. I cannot wait to meet Faile's family because I know it's gonna happen.
I'm stoked.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
My prediction is book 6.
You know, we had a moment a couple weeks ago with Faile that we really didn't like. You know, but
she's kind of like up and down.
Their relationship, I other than that moment, which I think is just part of its time, I really love their relationship.
Yeah.
Especially here, where she's like, they get all cuddled up, and she's like, I'm gonna cuddle you all night so that you can't move and hurt your wound. And I'm like, yeah, right. You just want to get down on that shirtless boy.
Yeah.
And like give him some cuddles.
It's fair. Yeah.
And so they're honest with each other, and then they get to cuddle semi-nude. Before all this, I should mention that Aram shows up and is like, yo, where's Gawyn?
That's
and
true.
And Perrin's like, she's an Aes Sedai now.
Back off. God damn it. Yeah, he gets
like,
so
Perrin,
salty.
What did Aram ever do to you?
Yeah, he gets very salty. Faile also does drug him, which is like...
Fair. He is dying. She does not drug him. She gives him medicine. There is a huge difference.
He passes the fuck out.
Yeah, because if he doesn't sleep and he moves around, he's going to bleed to death.
Not saying it's the wrong thing to do, but I am saying that Faile did drug him.
Okay. If a doctor at a hospital sedates you because you're in so much pain that you're thrashing around and it's going to kill you, they're in the right.
Can they if you say no? Because he said no powder. I actually don't know how that works legally.
That's interesting. I think they would have to wait until you're unconscious, so maybe not.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Perrin has nothing to be upset about.
No,
here.
It's the right thing to do.
She commits so hard to his health.
Yeah. He is dying, and this will help him to stay alive and not hurt himself further. Like, I get it, but she does drug him.
If I ever have a wound in my stomach that I'm in so much pain that I can't fall asleep, but the only thing that's going to save my life is sleep, I'm giving you blanket permission right now to drug me with anything a doctor says I need in order to survive.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that right now. I give you 100% permission to give me the medicine doctors say is important to my ongoing survival.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that this is a case where Faile is his what's the term for the person who's like in charge of you when you're in the hospital?
Oh.
Faile has his
primary caregiver or something like that?
No, that's the doctor.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
If you're in the hospital, your mom isn't your primary caregiver. Is she? She's not caring for you. She's sitting there like, yeah.
I don't know. I don't go to hospitals.
Is power of attorney. Thank you. Joe Chio nailed it.
Me.
She has power of attorney in this scene. And
roof mistress.
Roof mistress. Well, technically, I think Illa's the roof mistress here. And you listen to the roof mistress. You take the powder. Also, if this powder that helps you sleep exists, I will just take some now. I'm very tired.
I would love that. Yeah, I would love that.
But the powder puts Perrin in a little bit of a difficult situation here because the next chapter, we're in chapter 42, a missing leaf. Perrin wakes up in the dream world.
Yep.
Which means he's asleep, but it's complicated.
He's waking up while sleeping.
And he plays hide and seek with Slayer, who is described as looking exactly like Lan. And so I think that it is the man who betrayed Lan's family. His uncle, right, who betrayed his family to the Dark Ones and caused the Blight to cross through Malkiri. I think that is Slayer.
Yeah, whether or not it actually is him or if he's taken on the face of him, I feel like it could be him, right? Like, he was like rewarded in a sense with this like, I don't know, eternal life in the dream world. Like, I don't know if he can actually be in like the physical world either, but he definitely seems to be in Tel'aran'rhiod and is like,
yeah, we've never seen him outside of
messing
dreams.
stuff up, you know.
Yeah, and so they kind of play they play like race around the world. They're like chasing each other by like kilometers.
Yeah,
it's very cool. I feel bad for the show in this case because I don't know how the hell
you do this. Yeah, like, yeah, not at all.
I was legitimately thinking about. I was like, how do you possibly make this visual in a way that makes sense to a person watching it, and also like doesn't cost $8 billion?
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, but it's great.
You would need so many locations. Like, this is actually kind of nuts, but it's really cool.
Yeah, and I love that it takes Perrin a second. Like, it takes him like losing this game a few times before he's like, wait, okay, I need to like outthink him and like get ahead of him. And he does for a minute, and then he doesn't, and then he hesitates, and Slayer runs off again. But it was still like a cool moment watching Perrin kind of like figure it out and getting his like footing in this world.
Well, and I love that Perrin Faile has given him this powder, and so he can't wake up, and so he's in this dream with Slayer, and he can't wake up, and he figures out a way to dream shift. Like, he figures out a way to like still be dreaming, but like move into another dream, which was so. I was like, this is wild.
He's like basically kind of learning what Egwene is learning, but by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I have a feeling it's gonna like bite him in the ass. Like, I think he's gonna be in trouble, and Egwene might have to save him somehow. I don't know how they connect in the dream world exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but I could see that happening in like, I don't know, like book like a 10 or something.
They have connected in the dream world before,
but not like intentionally, right?
Oh, sure, but I'm saying like I have a feeling that they will do that far sooner than book 10.
Sure, I just mean, I don't know.
We're in book 4. Look at what has happened in 4 books. You think it's going to take 6 more books? I think by like book 6, they're going to be like fighting gods in the dream world while Rand burns a country to the ground. Like, if the power creep at this point is to where it's at, I don't know where the power creep goes by book 14.
Here's the thing, Perrin is still figuring it out without Hopper's help. And, like, Perrin and Egwene don't even 100% know if those times that they ran into each other, if it was really them. Right? Like, Rand
no, because they both remembered in the morning. So, yeah, it was really them.
Yeah, but they don't know that the other one also knows that it happened, right? Like, they don't know that, like...
CJ Clarke, Perrin and Slayer is the most anime-like thing I've ever read. Well, and this goes back to why I think that the show should have been animated, right? Yeah. Like, because all of this stuff, honestly, an anime adaptation of Wheel of Time would be rad. Yes. My only caveat is I would like for the girls to be drawn older than anime sometimes does.
Yeah, they don't need to look 14.
Yeah. But yeah, it should have been animated. There's so much in here that could have been so cool animated that they're just going to have to cut for live action, and it's going to be unfortunate because, like, I don't know how you do this.
Yeah. CJ Clarke, thank you for that super chat.
And we saw Multiverse of Madness this weekend, but Multiverse of Madness is a $200 million movie, right?
And it's only a movie. Like, it's for a show at that scale, you need so much money. Like,
Perrin does eventually wake up, but in doing so, in this dream world, what we learn is that the Waygate is open.
Yes, Perrin finds the Waygate, and the leaf is back in the unlocked position, I guess. I that's what I'm going to call it, the unlocked position. So yeah, we find out that there are going to be more Trollocs coming through because it is open. You can get to Two Rivers now. Mm-hmm. And so Perrin is like, well, we need to deal with that right away after. But they have to die.
They have to get to Emond's Field first because that's where Varen and Alana are, and he
needs to be healed.
There's nothing. Yeah, he needs to be healed. And so when they leave the Tinkers, Perrin is like, Rain, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Please come with us. Like, it's dangerous. It is very dangerous. And Rain's like, nope, what happens, happens. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And also, we don't like to go near towns. And this feels like a bit of a retcon from the first book, because the first book sets up this idea that the Aiel the Tuatha'an kind of go town to town fixing stuff for people. Uh-huh. And that is their economy, is in, like, mending pots for, like, towns.
Yeah, but they don't stay in villages and towns, because they say that that's what, like, breeds violence.
Sure, but this makes it seem like they don't go near towns, which wasn't a vibe that I got from the first book.
I don't think it's not that they don't go near towns. Like, they would have, like... first of all, they don't want to go near towns because people believe that the Tuatha'an, like, steal children, right?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
But it's more that they're opposed to, like, stay in a town overnight, right? Like, they stay with their wagons. That's, like, their thing.
I understand that. I'm just saying that, like, Perrin isn't saying, like, come live with us. I think he's like, come stay with us for, like, 2 days while we figure out this Trolloc situation. And if I was a Tuatha'an and I was non-violent, I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, 2 days.
Yeah, but that's not their belief. Like, they believe that they have to keep moving and that the safety is in always continuing to move and not, like, standing your ground.
Yeah, I guess it was just the way Rain's, like, adamant, like, villages are where violence happens. I was like, you go to villages. Like, we've seen Tinkers in Tarvalon. They pass through, right? So it was just...
Tarvalon?
Yeah, they pass through Tarvalon.
Like, to Tarvalon, but they don't, like, stay there, right? Like, they don't go to little villages. Tarvalon knows better. Tarvalon knows that the Tinkers don't steal children, but they're not going to pass through the Two Rivers. Like, they're not going to pass through Emond's Field because literally, like, they say it, like, some of the Two Rivers people are like, no, they steal kids. You know what I mean? There's this weird superstition about them, and they don't want to upset people.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it was just Rayan's, like, adamant thing that villages are what breeds violence to me was strange. Because violence also happens in the woods between, like humanity breeds violence. Trollocs breed violence. But, like, him being so adamant about not wanting to go near the village felt odd to me, considering what we were told about their economy earlier. That's all I'm saying.
Was that stuff that we learned from the book, though, or from the show?
From the book. The book talks about how they, like, go to towns to, like, mend pots and stuff, and that's how their economy's built.
I don't remember that. Like
From the first book.
I don't think the Tinkers go, like, town to town.
I mean, they, like, that's just what is set up in the first... I don't know. Like, I can't...
Okay. Yeah. I just thought that they just continually, like, moved by themselves because everyone was, like, scared of them.
Yeah, but the first book sets up that they go around and, like, when the Tinkers come around, you, like, take stuff to them and they mend it for you. Like, that was set up in the first book, and that, like, Tinker-mended pots are, like, the strongest mending that you can get. Like, that was a concept that was set up in the first book. When Perrin and Gawyn first meet the Tinkers, their memories of Tinkers are like, oh, sometimes they would come across Terran Ferry, and you would go to them and get stuff mended and things like that, right? So I don't think there's like no relationship between Tinkers and towns, right? There's some sort of economic transfer between the two cultures.
Okay. Yeah, so them going to Tarvalon was a show thing, not a book thing.
Yeah, Tinker implies that just the nickname Tinker implies that they're known for working with tools, fixing, mending stuff. Okay. That's true though, right? Like,
okay, but they don't go like into the towns.
No, but we have seen them pass through cities. Because, like, you probably they have to, right? At some point, they have to go through the road from one side to the other. I don't think they stay in the city. I'm saying, like, they literally will pass through. Like, they'll ride their wagons through, right? That's all I'm saying. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Rain says no.
True.
Some of
Rain
book club,
like, nah.
Some of book club is us trying to remember what happened 4 books ago together.
It's great, guys.
Yeah.
It's great.
And then the people in the chat who have read this series like 9 times are like, that on page 32, this is exactly what they said. And I'm like, I'm glad you remember that. We're doing our best.
First read through, guys. First read through.
No backseating.
Perry Wolf, thank you for the super chat.
Perry Wolf, thank you. Tuatha On literally don't see death as a bad thing. They see it as simply moving them to a new turn in life. Therefore, they don't fear Trollocs killing them. They just see it as their time. Yes, they say that until they're being attacked.
Yeah, they say that, and then they show up later, which, fair.
That is a very nice way to view the world when you're not being attacked.
Yeah.
So they get back to Emond's Field, and they're like riding into Emond's Field, and they have cleared the forests.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Like, before we get out of this section, I want to talk about my new favorite sentence in the Wheel of Time.
Your new favorite sentence?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, no.
What? Did you not?
My screenshots ignore my highlights. That's annoying.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Say something interesting while I try and find it.
Say something interesting. Apparently you're wrong. The Tinkers don't go through cities, so I hate to break it to you.
Don't we literally see them in Camelin at one point?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So...
Sex Monkey says just wait till you're trying to remember what happened 10 books ago.
Fair. Faile says to Perrin in this section, "But me no buts, Perrin Ibara, not another word on it." Because he's like, but, and she's like, but me no buts.
But me no buts.
But me no buts has to be the finest use of the English language ever.
Yes. That is, like, the epitome. Like, you think Shakespeare is good? No. This right here. That's it.
But me no buts, Perrin Ibara.
I want to hear the Audible audiobook version of just to hear whoever's narrating say that out loud.
The other section of this that I really loved is they talk about the Tinkers the boys the next morning when they're leaving and going to Emond's Field. They're like, the Tinkers dance this dance, and Faile's like,
right,
I'll dance the Sisara for you.
Yeah.
And they have this interaction where she's like, you muscle-brained oaf, men have thrown their hearts and fortunes at the feet of women who dance the Sisara. If mother suspected, I knew it.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, you went out and, like, I guess learned it by yourself?
Faile is aggressively threatening to strip for Perrin.
Aggressively, yes.
To which he responds, but this is where it gets super sweet. There isn't any reason for you to dance it, he said quietly. My heart and fortune, such as they are, already lie at your feet. And you're like,
aww,
Perrin.
That's the right thing to say.
If you didn't have a giant arrow in your side, you'd be getting laid tonight. To which she responds, you are too clever for me. One day I will dance it for you and boil the blood in your veins. To which he responds, you already do that. Perrin.
Perrin is a good boy.
No, we are past the boys thinking the other boys are better with girls than them. And we are into the Perrin supremacy, where Perrin is the smoothest. Perrin is Billy D. Williams in the late 80s level of smooth here. You know what I mean?
Oh my
like,
God.
Perrin is full on, like, doing a Colt 45 commercial, and my panties are wet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, like, fair.
I don't know if Faile wears
that was,
panties.
like, slick.
I don't know, like, what kind of underclothes they would have, but whatever it is, soaked.
I also love that Perrin's like, yeah, I saw the Tegenza. Yeah, I saw it.
It's fine. He's misremembering his own past, because when he saw it, he was going,
He was like,
what do I look at? What do I look at?
yeah, someone find me a pillow.
Perrin's very different now, because he's seen Berlaine, like, basically fully naked, based on how her clothes are described.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Perrin can get it. As soon as that arrow's getting out. Anyways.
I'm
gonna butt me no butts. I'm gonna add
Butt me no butts. Isn't that
vocabulary.
fantastic?
It's great.
Butt me no butts.
Yeah.
Perrin and Bara.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I loved it. So they get to Emond's Field, and around Emond's Field, they've cleared all the trees.
There's like stakes in the ground.
Yeah,
They've
it is
set up
a
defenses.
war zone. They're
Yeah.
ready. I was like, this is rad. You know what it reminded me of? Was the this is so weird, but it reminded me of the Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers video game. When because they tried to make the like Legolas, Legolas, Aragorn, and Gimli getting to the capital of Rohan, like this big like multiple mission thing where you have to go through multiple towns, and as you go through the towns, they get like more heavily fortified as you go through them. And so it really reminded me. I know that's weird, but I was like, oh, this is like
great.
The people in the Two Towers video game getting ready to go to Helm's Deep.
But they walk in and they start calling Perrin Golden Eyes, and he's like, no, for the love of God, no.
Great video game. Great video game.
Great video game.
Goldeneye, fantastic.
Perrin also gets his own banner.
Yeah.
He's got a big white banner with the red border and the red wolf on it, which is very cool. I'm into it.
And he hates it.
He hates it. He's like, someone get that thing away. I don't want to see it.
Perrin doesn't understand the power of branding, okay?
The power of branding.
I put the Nerdy Nightly logo on fucking everything.
It is. It's the power of branding. Absolutely.
So they get him into the inn. And as he's going into the inn, everyone has crowded around the door of the inn, and he can hear the mothers of these boys that he led to their death. And
all 27 of them.
All 27 of them asking where they are, and the door closed behind him, and he can't deal with it because he's so injured. I think that if he was in full health, he would be the one telling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's not well.
He's not in shape for that. And so they get him into the inn, and they're like, we need Alanna. Days Congar, we need you to heal everybody else, but we need Alanna to come here.
Yeah.
Because Varen, not a healer.
Yeah, not a healer, interestingly enough. I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that, like, human anatomy and knowledge, like, would be, like, interesting to Varen, but not, like, a passion, right? I don't know.
Perrin is now sponsored by Lordable.
Lordable?
Lordabletrial.com/Perrin Ibarra.
You too can buy yourself a half mile of land somewhere on an island near Scotland.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, we find out that Loial has a big ol' axe.
Yeah.
And that Loial and the townspeople are clearing trees so that they can see the Trollocs before they get there.
Loial's not happy about it. Loial is like very upset about it, but he
cries every time he cuts a tree.
But he does it way better than everyone else does.
This scene has to be in the show, and it's just Loial being like, "I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry."
I also want to see Luhan making that axe for
Loial. It's
Loial.
just this giant piece of metal.
Yeah.
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 It's just there's just like 4 boys holding it up as Luhan's trying, because there's no like anvil large enough, so there's just like 4 anvils and like boys trying to keep it like leveled while like, Luhan's using his hammer. That would be really fun to watch,
right?
Yeah, that's
I think it'd be very funny. So Perrin tells Loial about that the Waygate is unlocked.
Yeah.
And Loial's like, I'm so sorry, like we should have just no, you don't really destroy Waygates, and like it's complicated. And Yeah, it's complicated. But, he does share that important bit of information because, obviously, Perrin's plan is immediately to go make sure that gate is closed. And some of his, old buddies show up.
Yeah. Yeah. And
one that he doesn't recognize because he hit puberty.
He's a little boy.
And then he has this bassy voice.
Yeah. Ewan Fingar.
Yeah.
Is a man now. So Alanna shows up and she's like, "Oh shit. You're gonna die now. We need to get him upstairs."
Yeah.
So they get Perrin into a bed and Alanna's like, "This is gonna suck because I have to." So the Trolloc arrows are barbed.
Yeah.
And the barbs have shifted behind his ribs. So they have to twist the barbs back to the angle where they came in and then yank it out. And they don't have sedation in this world. So instead, they do the old, we're going to put a stick between your teeth.
Yeah,
and,
which he breaks immediately.
It's going to hurt.
Yeah, yeah. Luckily, Varen got there just in time.
Alanna.
Yeah. I do really like, though... I did like the section where Perrin is just talking to these boys that he knew from home and telling them about things that happen as though they're matter of fact and having their reaction to it and what they believe and what they don't believe. And
they can't believe cities. Yeah.
And he tones certain things down and even then they're still yeah, right. And that difference in perspective is so funny because Perrin ends up seeing, he's was I that naive when I left? I mean, so you're you were. That's what's so cool about it is him literally holding up a mirror to Book 1 Perrin in a sense. And I really loved that scene, and I thought it was a really good natural lead up to the I'm feeling thirsty, and then something's not right. It was very it was very smooth, and I while reading it almost lost track of the sense of time that Perrin had been talking.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what it feels happens until finally he's he is on the brink of death, and Alanna shows up in the nick of time.
They say if someone is at that point, keep them talking. That's the thing that you've got to do. If someone is hurt in that way, you just keep them talking. That way they don't fall asleep and they maybe don't die.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
No dying.
Chapter 44, The Breaking Storm. So we get a little bit of Perrin waking up and being like, ow. Ouch.
All right, I gotta go close the way gate. And then Faile's actually.
Well, yeah, so he's like, I need to get out of this bed.
Yeah, Faile's no.
And he does.
He does, and then he gets out of bed immediately because Faile is so, Loyal and Gall left, and he's right, I'm going, and he literally falls down the stairs. Him and Faile literally crash down the stairs, and Mistress Luhan is
the only people who have sex in this lobby of this inn
are
Gawyn and Rand.
Everybody else is not allowed.
No one else has sex on the main floor of this inn except Gawyn and Rand.
Yeah.
And they had the common decency to do it in the kitchen like adults.
Not on the stairs.
Not on the stairs.
God. That would hurt. I love that Perrin's moment. He realizes what it looks like. He's oh, no.
I also love when Perrin wakes up, he is this is one of the few times where a woman is clothed and the man is fully nude. He's just standing there weighing out, just
yeah, dick out.
Yeah.
It's I mean.
And Faile, not
apparently not
making
bothered.
A big deal out of it.
I mean, Faile's.
She's seen it a lot recently.
Yeah.
Because she's probably the one who's been taking his clothes off, so she's I wonder how much bigger it gets.
Hey, honestly, it's better if it's out of the way sometimes. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
When you don't need it.
Agreed.
You don't need it.
Better to be a grower than a shower. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god.
So he's get me my horse. And we get another instance of an older woman being this is how you handle men.
Okay.
But not realizing that Perrin has super hearing. And so Perrin can hear her be Faile, let me show you how to take care of these boys.
Oh my god. I'm not gonna lie. This is the one thing in the series that I am just getting tired of. This is how the women control the men, and this is how the men control the women.
Yeah.
Nobody in this entire universe can have, like, open communication with anybody. Like, with literally anybody. Like, Rand won't talk to Moiraine. Like, Moiraine won't talk to Rand. Moiraine won't even talk to, like, Siuan. Min won't talk to Siuan. Like, Min won't talk to barely anybody.
I disagree with that. Min tells Siuan everything, and Siuan ignores it. Min is very open with Siuan.
No, but she doesn't tell her about, like, well, okay, fair enough, I guess.
Min is the one person going around being like, can everyone just please listen to me?
And that's why Rand is like, you know what? It's so much simpler when Min's here. I don't feel like I have to do this.
She's honest.
Yeah, and like nobody in this fucking universe can just be communicative with other people. It's always the like, I'm going to manipulate you into like doing or like thinking what I want. And I'm just kind of over it.
Yeah.
It frustrates me to no end.
Especially after we get that awesome moment of communication between Faile and Perrin earlier.
Yeah. I was like, oh,
well,
cool.
But in this case, Faile is being honest with Perrin. Perrin just being a stubborn mule about it.
The wheel of poor communication.
But they go back and forth, and finally they do get Perrin up on his horse, and he's like, I'm going after them. And then we get this series of chores.
Series of chores.
It's the wheel weaves and the wheel wills Perrin to get shit done. And what I liked about it is it wasn't even things that like they needed Perrin for. It was just a series of people coming up to him being like, hey,
so the children,
should we let the children play with knives? And he's like, no.
You know children better than what? Like
cows, should we feed them beef? No, they're cows. What? Like, why are you asking me these questions? Just do it.
It's funny because it's one of those things where I can really feel. Also, y'all, smash that like button. Like it right now. Aggressive. Smash it.
Smash it.
With a hammer. No, it's one of those things where when you are, I've done this before. I'm like guilty of it. When there's somebody in the room who you like want to be friends with, or you like want to talk to, or you want other people to like see that you're talking with them. Like if there's somebody that has a big presence in the room, that has authority, or that has respect, or that just has charisma, any of those things, you will like find excuses. You'll like find reasons, right?
Okay, see, this is why I don't understand it, because I don't like talking to people or being friends with them. Okay,
well then yeah, you wouldn't understand. But like I've been in a room with people where I'm like, that girl seems really cool. I'm gonna like come up with a reason.
K Huff says start a quest at Emond's Field. It does feel like he's like trying to leave. It's when you're playing a video game and you're trying to leave town.
Leave the tutorial area.
And there's someone there who's like, oh, I think someone over there needs you before you can go out. And you're like, no, SNL did a great. There's a great SNL sketch about this where it's Pete Davidson and he just wants to kill zombies, and there's this like drama in the zombie bunker that keeps interfering, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go to the army and get a gun. Okay. And then the guy's like, so I pulled you into the army because do you think that Dave and I are having like problems lately? And it's like, this is exactly.
I think I watched that actually.
Spacey, thank you so much for that spoiler chat.
Super chat.
Oh my god. Brandon Sanderson changed the communication, but I think it feels fan fictiony. Interesting. It'll be interesting to see when we get to his writing how he changes it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the differences there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is one of those things where I'm just where it like I've been in the situation where like I will come up with a reason to like try and either start conversation or like find common ground with somebody.
Yeah.
And it feels like that kind of coupled with a Taviran-ness, right? Mm-hmm. Like everybody wants a moment of Perrin's time.
Yeah. And they get it until
it was and it was well done. Like I liked it. Is it like necessary to the plot? No, but it was like this nice little like very human moment that I thought was well done. The like button jumped by like 50.
But it ends because we're under attack. We get the Trollocs raiding Emond's Field.
No, doesn't he go for lunch?
Yep.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure. I was like, wait, no. He's like, I'm done. I need to eat, and he goes for lunch, and then yes, Trollocs literally attack.
Do you have more to say about the lunch?
What? Lunch is important, okay?
So the Trollocs attack.
But there's isn't it?
Jesus
wait.
Christ.
No. Isn't it like one Trolloc for a second? That's this one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So the Trollocs are attacking, but it's not. It's like one.
Yep.
So that they know that the Trollocs will then eventually be attacking. What?
Nothing.
I think that's important to clarify.
No, No, you're right. I thought you were making a joke when you were like, no, but.
Oh, no. No, I mean, the Trollocs haven't attacked yet, but one of them did. One of them was like, you know what, I'm a little peckish. I'm gonna go see if I can find some, like, lumberjack to snack on.
So the Trollocs attack, and it starts with one Trolloc who comes out of the trees. And they're like, that's weird. Why would there be one Trolloc?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then they send out some raiders, and the raiders come back, and they're like, no. It's like 500 Trollocs.
500, give or take.
And it turns out that the Perrin's Fielders are Perrin's Fielders.
Guys, no, it's canon. Perrin's Fielders. It's not Emond's, it's Perrin's Fielders.
It turns out the Emond's Fielders are like way more prepared. The warders have been getting them to build catapults.
Yeah. And the Aes Sedai have been like enchanting the rocks.
So this is the thing. The catapults felt really dumb to me at first, because catapults are not an anti. You don't use catapults to fight, like, infantry.
But you could.
Not really. They're sort of wildly impractical. It only makes sense because once the first one lands and it explodes with the one power, it suddenly makes sense. But, like, shooting catapults into an army, unless you're going to have massive catapults that can, like, land giant stones that are going to hit... it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Okay. Yeah.
But because of the one power, it does, right?
Yeah.
And so that's very cool.
Yeah.
And so this thing that I was like, catapults is a weird option here. You would be better off not like wasting all of the materials and time to build a catapult. You could make the number of weapons and things that you could make in the time it takes Master Luhan to build a catapult is just, it's so time intensive for something that ultimately isn't going to do that much damage over a short range to infantry.
Sure, but like the shatter ammo kind of makes it worth it, right?
Right, which is why it makes sense that like it comes from the warder, because he knows how the one power works. That was really cool.
For sure.
And so you essentially end up with this army of 500 Trollocs rushing in, and Emond's Field they put the like spears into the ground facing out.
Yeah.
You end up with this situation where you're like, oh shit, like it's Wine Spring all over again. There's no way these Emond's Fielders are stopping 500 Trollocs, right?
Yeah.
But they got magic. They got magic exploding rocks.
Yeah, like literally, like they don't lose a single person. The Trollocs don't even make it to the people.
Yeah.
Like they are annihilated before reaching the town. Which I was like, okay, cool. I guess they crushed it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
And what I really love is the concept that everyone is like, Perrin, what do you want us to do? And he's like, do it. And they're like,
Tam is like,
thanks. Good order.
Tam is like, so 300 paces? He's like,
yeah.
I don't fucking know. Like
300 sounds good.
Sure, whatever
also,
you say.
I love we get the Lord of the Rings moment where like the first arrows go off and the guy's like, what are you can't shoot that far.
Tam is like, hold you, and he like, I don't know, he said something mean. I don't remember exactly. You lack-headed sheep brain, whatever. Something along those lines. And all the Emond's Fielders are like, and he's like, what? It's war. Like, they all get, like, so offended. Yeah. I was like, wait.
I love
like, what?
They literally just shot a bunch of arrows into the ground, and the person telling them what to do was like, don't be an idiot. And they're like, don't call me an idiot.
Don't call me an idiot. You can't do that. I thought that moment was great.
But yeah, the Two Rivers longbows are very good. Everyone in there, great archer, once it's within range. And even the Fade goes down like a pincushion of arrows. Yeah. Which I thought was really fun.
Yeah.
And...
well, and then, the warders and Perrin are all kind of looking around. They're like, this is like a small
This
taste.
is a test.
Yeah, this is only the beginning. Because now, obviously some of the Trollocs ran back off into the woods. They know what the defenses are, right? They know what to expect, which is scarier.
Yeah. Yeah, no... It's definitely interesting. I like that they immediately go into like debrief mode. I find it really interesting the way that Robert Jordan gets it. Like I think that his combat stuff is really well done, and he's like, oh no, this is a test. It's gonna be more next time. How can we make sure that we get the shepherds in faster? How can we make sure that
with their flocks, like
how can we make sure that we have enough scouts so that we have more warning. Like, they kind of just immediately go into that mode rather than, like, celebrate. They don't really celebrate the victory. They really are like, okay, we need to, like, batten down these hatches.
I mean, I think the Emond's Fielders do. The people who are like, oh
my
god.
They cheer a little bit, but then, like, Tam is like, no, the Tam and Perrin and Yvonne, they get everyone back in gear really fast.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not like they go to the inn and have a drink.
Yes,
people cheer. There's definitely a celebratory moment, but then people are like, get to work, and they're like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Let's get to work. We need to clear those Trolloc bodies. Like, I really appreciate that. It makes the characters seem smart, and it's fun to have a celebratory moment. I love a D&D episode where you're just getting drunk in the tavern because you beat the dragon in the last episode. But that's not really how real world war works, right? Yeah. Like, the battle ending does not end the battle. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I loved the oh my god. No, I lost it. Mm-hmm. I lost it. No. Oh, no. I loved how, like, 2 books ago, we were like, wait, Rand shot all of those Grom, like, in the eye?
Yeah.
We're like, how good is he with a bow? Turns out everyone, great with a bow.
Turns out everyone in Toothfield.
Yeah, if you are in 2 Rivers, you have a bow in your hands before you have a bottle. Like...
Yeah.
Which is fun. Like, here's the thing. If I was, like, a country person and, like, you didn't have the internet, right? Like, you don't have, like... Mm-hmm. A huge library of books to read or anything like that. Like, what do you do with your spare time? I guess you learn the quarterstaff and the longbow.
They're also, every boy in 2 Rivers must be massive.
Massive?
Absolutely
for longbows?
Yoked. You know what I mean? Like, they must all be yoked out of their minds.
Yeah.
If all of them are pulling a longbow, if you're telling me every boy in that town showed up that day already ready to pull a longbow for 5 minutes, shooting arrow after arrow after arrow, my shoulder can shoot, like, an arrow out of a longbow, and then the second one is a hard pull.
Oh yeah,
because I'm not used to that motion. Like they must all just be. They would all be massive on one side.
They're all like lopsided.
They're all gonna have massive right arms.
I mean, here's the thing.
Because that happened. Like, that was a true thing about English longbowmen. Their physical musculature was warped by the pulling back of those longbows. Yeah. Literally, we have their skeletons, and their skeletons are like warped towards their right shoulder.
Yeah, I guess they like balance it out with like the hoeing on the other side.
It's not the same motion though. That pulling is like
I don't know. It's fantasy.
Yeah.
There is an interesting discussion in the chat that I've noticed about the Aes Sedai making the rocks and whether or not like that counts as like using the 1 power to make a weapon.
Yeah, but they're allowed to make they're allowed to make weapons against Shadowspawn. That's allowed.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
How do they're allowed to use the 1 power as a weapon against Shadowspawn.
Yeah, and that's what they do.
So can the Aes Sedai make the rocks under the assumption that they're going to be used for the Trollocs, but then if like what happens if somebody else uses it for like against not Shadowspawn, like do they drop dead? I don't know how the oaths work.
Here's the thing. This gets back to intent, right? If the intent of making the rock is to use it as a weapon against the Trollocs, and Varen and Alana believe that deeply at their core, then I think that the oath doesn't trigger because they believe that. Yeah. And they're using it to make a weapon against the Shadowspawn.
For sure.
I think that
it's the reasoning. Like you you can like logic yourself around. People do it all the time in their own personal beliefs. They'll just like logic themselves around hard, solid evidence.
Spacey, thank you for that super chat. He says, remember, they're all sexually repressed. Of course, they're massive on one side. I don't know if they're sexually repressed.
Spacey, thank you for that super chat. I mean,
they have kids very young. Perrin left for a year, and everyone his age has children.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I kind of liked that girl. Weird.
She's pregnant now.
Yeah.
She's pregnant and has a baby.
Yeah.
Like, I think that they got to the age where they would have started to have the sex.
The sex.
Yeah, they just left.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. It's just an interesting discussion that was being had that I thought, be worth mentioning.
On the other side of the village... No, it's an interesting point, babe. On the other side of the village, more Trollocs attacked. We got some Coplans and some Congars, and they too fought back some Trollocs.
Wow!
Yeah.
Who would have thought they'd be useful?
Yeah, brightly colored Trollocs.
Yeah.
In really bright clothes.
That are only like 5.5 feet to 6 feet tall.
I just love this one where Perrin's like, you Yeah, congrats. You beat back the Tuatha.
Yeah.
Wow.
The people that don't fight back. Like, and he's like, how stupid do you have to be to confuse a Trolloc and a Tuatha? Like,
yeah. It's like anytime a movie wants to have like a funny action sequence, they'll have the like idiot in the group shoot like a like painting on a wall. Or you know what I mean? There's always that like one moment where they're like
a mannequin.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's not.
And then the like grizzled leader is like, yeah, that's great. You shot a dress-up doll.
Yeah.
Good
well
for
done. You crushed it. Gold star.
And so the Tuatha come, what's left of them, which is not many, comes walking in towards Emond's Field, and the Emond's Fielders get a little racist.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. They're like, what? Tuatha? The children stealers? Yeah.
Yeah, and Daze Congar is like, we can't have them here. They steal children. And then Perrin's like, and then Whit Congar's like, yeah, they steal children. And then Perrin is like, no, they don't. And Daze Congar's like, Whit, what do you mean they steal children? What are you saying? And I was like, Daze, you flip-floppy. You are the worst wisdom.
Yeah.
She's not Daze Congar is not who you want to be wisdom of your town.
No, she's no Nynaeve.
She's no Nynaeve.
Unfortunately.
Which is also not a great wisdom. You want someone with some bedside manner.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. Yeah.
Look,
yeah.
I like Nynaeve. Would not want her to be my doctor.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Perrin is like, we're not gonna turn away people. Like you guys are the worst.
Yeah.
And invites the Tuatha in, and
we're not going to turn away children to be eaten by Trollocs.
Yeah. And
this goes back, we didn't really talk about it, but there's a scene early in the reading of this week where Perrin comes up on a pot of human flesh. And I'm only laughing because I'm uncomfortable with the sentence, a pot of human flesh, where he's like, I can't even tell people apart. And he's glad he can't tell people apart. That was an interesting tidbit of it.
Yeah.
He's like, we are not putting children out there to be eaten by Trollocs.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's evil people stuff. Come on in.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense. You know what? Perrin's right.
Oh, yeah, wait. Perrin makes sense.
We don't want to be literal monsters.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about the Conquerors, but...
Yeah. And so they go to the inn, and they're sitting down. They're commiserating. And a couple of girls in town take a shine to Aram, because he's a good-looking boy.
Shocking.
He's a good-looking boy.
They're literally feeding him, like spoon-feeding him.
Yeah, and then Faile's like, I want to do the same. I'm gonna feed you.
Okay. Never feed me unless I am like bedridden and cannot do it myself. I would hate that.
I feed you sometimes.
Like, you'll give me like a bite of cake or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you won't like cut up my meal and feed it to me like
yeah.
Like, I would lose my shit.
But I've like with a chocolate dipped strawberry been like, ooh, eat this chocolate dipped strawberry.
Yeah. Like, that's fine. That's like a thing. An entire like
But
meal?
also privately. I would never do that in front of people.
In the middle of like a restaurant? Like,
I think the only time I have is like, I think I fed you a little bit of our wedding cake at our wedding. Because it's like tradition.
Yeah, whatever. It's fine. God, please never do that to me, because I will lose my goddamn mind. I hated it. I hated it so much.
My thing about feeding someone else is how inefficient it is. Like, you don't know what size bite I want.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know
the right mixture of like steak with potato, or like maybe I want like a little like peas with my rice.
Are you
like
saying that you mixed steak and potato together?
Yeah, like when I'm eating like an entire meal, sometimes
you eat the steak and the potatoes separately.
Well, it depends. That like when we went out and we had that like parsnip puree, it was really good with
not
the
potato.
Steak. No, but I'm just saying.
I'm just saying that's without a doubt not potato.
I'm just saying.
So Aram is like walking around. He's like, "Hey, Perrin, whose weapons are these?" And Perrin's like, "Anyone who wants to hold them." And Aram's like, "Cool.
Cool, I'll take this one."
Prophecy fulfilled.
The Tuatha with a sword.
Yeah, Ela loses her mind.
She's like, Perrin, you've stolen my grandson. I was like,
Yeah, and Aram's like, yeah, like the Trollocs stole my mom.
Yeah, like, she's like, I lost everybody, and now finally, like, you've taken him from me. I was like,
well,
okay.
And this would be a fine moment if we hadn't been to Ruidian. But because we've been to Ruidian, the parallel of this with the history of the Tuatha makes it so fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we now get this, like, this is now a, you know, George Lucas says in the Phantom Menace documentary, it's like poetry, it rhymes. We're getting this poetry moment in the rhyming of the story of Wheel of Time between the picking up of the spears and of the pot in the Tuatha history.
Yeah.
That created the Tuatha, right? Like, the moment that created the Tuatha is the moment where the some of the Gen Aiel picked up weapons. Mm-hmm. And then we're creating a new thing again when Aram picks up this sword here. Yep. This is going to change the Tuatha forever. Yep. And I thought that this was going to be a bigger moment when we were reading the prophecies. I thought, like, a Tuatha was going to pick up a sword in battle. Yeah. Like, I thought it was going to be, like, do it or die. But the way that it's handled is nice because it allows us to pause and, like, talk. Our characters get to, like, talk about it and interact with it. And
it gives the moment, like, breath.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. As opposed to somebody picking up a weapon in the heat of battle. Yeah, this is more, like, yes, he has just been through some trauma, for sure. But it's not, like, necessarily impulsive like it would be in that moment of, like, defense.
Well, and everyone's bringing up his quote, right? I could have saved my mother if I had this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I think that I've always thought that it was going to be Aram, show version and book version. I think they've set up Aram in the show really well. He's one of the characters who I think is actually adapted very well in the show.
Yeah, he's fascinating. He's got that, like, charm, but also has, like, a bit of an edge. You know, like, Isla's always kind of like, yeah, he's a little, like, he doesn't always jive.
Yeah. I think they've set him up really well to pick up the sword in the show.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna be a cool moment. I don't think we met his mom in the show, so I think it'll probably be Rand that dies because we need the Illa moment, right? I think that Rand will be the one who dies to get here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. I'm really grateful that this didn't happen earlier in the book. I'm grateful that this happened after Ruidian because it adds this, like, generational trauma context to this moment that makes him picking up the sword such a like chills kind of moment.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to I agree. I thought it was gonna be this, like, in the heat of the moment battle, and it was gonna be like, oh, okay, yeah, that thing happened. Mm-hmm. But this is so much more impactful, and
100%.
Like, what does it mean? You know what I mean? Like, what do the Tuatha become after this, right? Because, like, many...
this band, right? Like, because there's other bands of Tuatha.
Well, but that's the thing. How many Tuatha are there? How many different caravans and carriages? Like,
who knows?
Like, how many of them are left? You know what I mean? Like, does Tuatha start to mean something different because of this pivotal moment? I don't know.
Well, and does Rand bring back the concept of the Gen Aiel, right? Like, well, are we ever going to get to see Rand let the Tuatha know about their history? Because that would be really interesting.
I mean, yeah.
That they are the same as the Aiel.
Yeah.
In a way.
I know he's, like, not supposed to talk about what happens in there, but he does anyways. Like, he's like, I'm making my own traditions now. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if he does share that information.
Yeah. The messenger brings up Faile catching Perrin's pain at this decision gets me. Perrin looks at Aram and makes a really hard choice here. Because I think the easy choice is to be like, Aram, we got this. Go back to you don't need to leave the way of the leaf. But Perrin goes, you know what? It is not my job to tell a man what to do. He's an adult. If he wants to do this, I don't want him to die doing it. So he goes, look, Aram, if you're going to do this, go learn.
Yeah.
Do not pick up that sword and just go into a battle.
Yes.
Go to Tam. Tell Tam that I said to train you. If you're going to pick up a sword, you're going to know how to use a sword. And I love Perrin in this moment. Like, because we've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes about just the Perrin section of this book, but it's most of our reading this week.
Yeah, there was a lot of Perrin.
And I love Perrin here because he's right. If you're going to pick it up, that's fine. You're an adult. You make your decisions. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do it, go learn how to do it properly because I don't want you to die because you pick it up.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the moment where, Faile's like, are you good? He's like, I'm just tired. Like, she really notices what's going on with Perrin. And in certain ways is, like, getting to know Perrin better than he knows himself.
Yeah.
It was, God, that moment.
And then the Whitecloaks show up. Whitecloaks ride into town, and so everyone has to run back out again because they think they're going to war again, but it's just the Whitecloaks. And
it's just the Whitecloaks.
Well, the Ordeith is not with them.
True.
Luke shows up. Luke is like, "Oh, you guys survived. Good job. You could have done it better if I was here, but like, you know."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Luke, just shut up. Just you have not helped at all.
Yeah.
Shut up."
Well,
they killed 500 Trollocs without you. They're fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little shit in that moment, but if I do recall correctly, he did help the Two Rivers set up their defenses, so he didn't do nothing.
Awesome. You weren't there when the fighting happened, though, so, like...
But the whole, like, oh, yes, beginner's luck thing, I was like...
Perrin's like, beginner's luck? Dude, I've fought Trollocs on 5 countries?
Yeah.
Perrin's like, what beginner's luck? I have ridden down on an army of Trollocs with 5 horses and won. I fought 2 Forsaken at the Eye of the World. I raided the Stone of Tyr. Like, I rode into battle with the literal dead heroes of the past at Falma. Beginner's luck my ass, dude. Perrin's like, I have fought a century's worth of battles in the last 2 years.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
I have fought Grom and Drakkar and Trollocs and Faith. I have personally killed like 9 Fades at this point.
Yeah.
I've witnessed the death of 3 Forsaken. Perrin, the beginner's luck line is such a joke. And Perrin's like, yeah, whatever.
Like I do not give a shit.
And the difference between Luke and Perrin is that Luke thinks that that's a burn, and Perrin knows the truth and is like, dude, if you only knew, you would literally shit your pants.
Yeah.
2 nights ago, I fought a kilometers-long battle in a dream against a man with superpowers.
Just casual. You know?
But sure, it's beginner's luck.
Yeah. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, he fought beside Arthur Hawkwing.
Yeah, literally they rode into battle together.
Yeah. So Bornhold shows up and sees Perrin and immediately is like like he literally like cannot contain himself. People in this series have zero self-control. Like the fact that you can read on somebody's face exactly what they're thinking. It's a book thing, it's a fantasy thing, but it just cracks me up because if I'm like thinking about like getting groceries and like seeing a friend later, and I'm like looking at you. You can't tell that that's what I'm thinking about. Like,
yeah.
But everybody in this series just projects so hard. It's very funny. But yeah, Dane is gets a little spicy.
Yeah, and he's like, so the Whitecloaks aren't welcome here anymore, and they're like, I mean, you're welcome. You just can't arrest anybody. And he's like, well, I arrest Perrin, and the mayor goes, no.
He's like, no.
I loved it so much. He's like, no, you're not. You're not doing that.
He's like, you can only arrest people that you can convince the village council that are dark friends, and you're never going to convince the village council. So I'm glad we're in agreement. Like, I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well done. I also love that he's like, you murdered my dad. And Perrin's like,
you killed my father. Prepare to die.
I never even... Like, I kind of wish Perrin had been like, I never met you. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I never met your dad.
He does say something. He was like, if this...
Oh, no, he tells him that he died in the Sanchin, right?
Yeah,
he said, oh, no, your dad died at the Sanchin. If your dad died at Fauna, he died at the Sanchin.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish Perrin's response had been like,
Sorry, who?
No, because he did because Geoffrey Bornhold did take him captive in the first book.
I know.
But, like, Perrin's like, Perrin didn't fight any Whitecloaks at Falma.
No.
Right? And so it's just kind of like this weird thing where he's like, dude, I haven't seen your dad since he kidnapped me.
With that guy.
A year ago.
Yeah.
Byre was there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he didn't he did not run into Geoffrey Bornhold at Falma. He saw him in that one town, right?
Yeah. He's like, oh yes, the man with the very recognizable shoulders.
I don't even think Perrin saw Geoffrey Bornhold there. I think that Geoffrey Bornhold saw Perrin.
Yeah, I don't know if they saw one
I think the last time Perrin saw Geoffrey would have been when he was, like, before he escaped the Whitecloak camp, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, Dane Bornhold gets all, like, pissy about it, and Perrin's like, okay, so more Trollocs are coming.
He's like, I hate having to think fast.
Yeah, and I like this. He's like, Loyal's right. He's like pulling in a little bit of Loyal into his brain. I was like, fuck, I love this.
Yeah.
you guys can stay here if you do what I say.
And yeah, he's like...
Daemon's like, yeah, okay.
But yeah, he's like, basically, once the Trollocs are dealt with, then we'll figure it out.
Then you can try. Then you can arrest me.
Yeah, go for it. Give it a try. I dare you.
Oh my god, it's Les Mis. It's literally Robert Jordan read Voltaire.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to borrow that.
And this is the confrontation. This is going to be the musical episode of Wheel of Time.
Valjean, at last, we see each other plain, monsieur. But, and he has
Before you say another word, Bornhold.
He's not.
Before you lock me up like a slave again, listen to me. 3 days are all I need.
Oh God, we should do.
It's literally the scene from Les Mis.
We should rewrite that for this moment. That would be amazing.
Yeah, and so yeah, they decide to come in and stay. Lord Luke is like, "Is Ordeath with you?" And they're like, "No." And Perrin's like, "You know Ordeath?"
Yeah, he's like, "Wait, you know what?"
That's weird.
Huh? Interesting. All right.
That's weird. Les Mis is Victor Hugo. Yeah, I mixed up the V's, guys. I'm dyslexic, and so if words start with the same letter, my brain goes whoop. I have a hard time with names because like Victor Hugo and Voltaire are the same thing in my brain, and I know that they're not. But that happens a lot. Like in that Batman trailer reaction where Zoe Saldana and Zoe Kravitz, and I'm like, they're both Zoes.
You're like Zoe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Nah, you're good. Do more songs. Should we rewrite Les Mis the musical, but make it Wheel of Time? How? I don't know, but I don't know.
Baal Zaman, don't look him in the fire eyes. So in Tanchico, that's it for Perrin this week.
Yeah,
it only took us an hour and 26 minutes to get through all the Perrin stuff.
Yeah, they invite the Whitecloaks into the camp, which is probably going to go very poorly.
Probably.
But it makes for an interesting read, so I'm like really excited to see how that storyline wraps up in this book.
Victor Voltaire is going to be my superhero name. I just want Min. I want Min's version of what's the Anne Hathaway song? What's the? I spent a summer by his side. Now Swan won't leave me the fuck alone.
I changed my name to Elmendreda.
All right, so Agianin, there's actually 3 more stories, Hawkthorn. This episode is probably going to go a little bit long. Agianin is like, gotta find Gelb. Or no, Agianin is following Gelb because she's like, he's going to kidnap again.
Yeah, she somehow has this like intuition. Because so she was like, I shouldn't have given him the money the first time he kidnapped a random woman. Mm-hmm. Probably. And now he's like greedy. And so he's just going to try and like capture anyone who he thinks might be the people that we're looking for. Right? Yeah. And so, yeah, she's like following him and his men as they like set up. Like he's like standing at the door to like, I think like an inn or whatever it is. And they're like watching. And she sees the people, like the targets. And she's like, oh yeah, those people don't belong here at all. And then we switch the POVs, and Elayne and Nynaeve are like, yeah, we blend in so well. Well,
but also, someone gets their arm broken behind her, and she doesn't know what is happening. Who? Is relevant. So while she's walking, like, there's, like, a scuffle behind her, and someone's arm gets broken because of, like... And they're like, he just asked for money, and she's like, that was weird. And then she turns around, and Gelb is gone. And then she's like, I've got to find him. Like, I don't know what he's doing. And then she sees Nynaeve and Elayne, and she's like... They're dressed right, one of these but something's wrong.
Yeah, it's not like the other.
And so we cut over to Nynaeve and Elayne feeling like they're on top of the world.
Yeah, of course. I mean, to be fair, Elayne is like, we should have had bodyguards and a like carriage. Or
Elaine's
whatever,
also like, I feel naked.
Yeah. But Nynaeve is like, no, we blend in so well, no one's gonna suspect a thing. And I'm like, Elaine's had her purse stolen 3 times. Like, you guys need to.
Yes, Nynaeve is fully like the character in the scene who is like on a time travel mission and thinks they're blending into the past really well, and everyone's like,
yeah.
Where are you from?
Yeah, she like full like travels to the 1940s and pulls out her cell phone. Like.
Yeah, and Agianin also says that it looks like the Soldam Serene.
Oh, but she's like, it couldn't be Serene because she's like a head shorter.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Which I don't
I don't know if that's supposed to mean anything.
I didn't understand that. Because I don't remember meeting Serene in the Great Hunt.
I don't remember meeting her. The name is familiar, though, so I feel like she might have been mentioned.
So Gelb attacks. Gelb and his men attack, and Nynaeve and Elayne they have like billy clubs with them to like fight people off.
Barrels, the state? Is it a state?
I don't know, but they have clubs.
They're basically carrying clubs around in silk dresses.
Yeah, which... That's a scene I need. Rafe Judkins, I need this scene.
Please.
And so they fight off the boys, and it's going pretty well, but Elayne does eventually channel. They've been trying not to channel because they don't want the Black Aja to feel them channeling.
Yes, and Gawyn jumps in to help them.
Yes.
Which is fascinating.
Which leads to...
not expecting that at all.
Them being like, we gotta get out of here. So they go back to the inn, and Gawyn basically, like, interrogates them and is like, well, so how does channeling work? And they're like, oh, you can learn it. And again, it's like, you can learn it? What? And they're like, oh yeah, you could learn it. You don't have like the innate ability, but you have enough of it in you. And she's like, my world view is imploding.
They don't tell her that she could learn how to channel.
Yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah, they literally say you don't have... Nynaeve says you don't have the innate ability, but you could probably learn how to channel. Yeah, oh god, yeah.
Oh, I guess I...
Yeah.
Missed.
And this is where Gawyn becomes so fascinating, because Gawyn, I love watching characters lose their worldview. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is awesome.
Yeah, like, and that's why Gawyn is like, I need to leave right now. She's like, I have questions, but I need to leave.
Yeah. Because, like, her worldview's being shattered. And then even Elayne are being really dumb and talking about stuff in front of Gawyn, and they should not be talking about it in front of her.
Yeah.
But, like...
Yeah, I don't think that they tell her that, like, oh, you have the potential to learn. I think they just say that, like, people can have the potential to learn, because they have no idea how to test that. And even Elayne have no idea what the tests are for learning, yeah, Chet says no. Chet says they don't know. So it's not her specifically, but they do tell her that, like, people can learn how to channel.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It is not directed in, like, specifically at Gawyn. But yeah, she confirms they give Gawyn the information.
I mean, the exact line is, I cannot sense the ability in you, but perhaps you can learn to channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they say that to her, and that's what shatters her worldview. I'm not wrong.
But yeah, perhaps you can learn, but not like you definitely have the ability.
Oh, I didn't say like definitely, but I'm saying like it's possible.
Right.
It's possible that she can channel, and it shatters her, right? Because she's like, wait, what? Like that changes how she views the world.
Yeah, and now she's got, I can't remember the girl's name, locked up in her basement.
Mm-hmm.
So that's. I wonder if we're gonna get that scene. Do you think we're gonna get a scene between them again?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see more Belthamine. She's alive. And I think Belthamine's gonna be freed at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But we also get Tom in this. Tom comes in and is like, yo, you are gonna have bodyguards from now on. They're already outside. Didn't ask, but you got attacked for the 4th time, so I think maybe you should just accept them this time. And they're like, I'm kind of mad at Tom for doing that, but like he's right. We have been attacked 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah, Elayne and Nynaeve kind of suck at this.
Yeah, they're not great spies. They're also not trained Aes Sedai. Siuan sent they're on a mission that, like, they're going to succeed because it's like a book and, like, they have to, but I know they're probably going to fail. I think that the dark side does end up with the thing, because Rand is going to get shackled by the dark at some point for, like, a period of time, and everyone is going to go save him.
Yeah.
But they're not great at this.
No, they're really not. Yeah, so much so that
that the Forsaken walk in and they're like, hi.
Yeah.
I'm a sexy lady.
Yeah.
And the girls are like, sex appeal.
I am speechless.
Yeah, who is this?
I think it's
Mogadishu?
No. That what's
Mogadishu.
What? Damn it! What's her name? I should have wrote it down because as soon as I read it, but the spider reference.
Mogideon?
Mogideon? Yeah. It's the spider reference in the dream that Rand has later.
Yeah.
Lanfear is talking about another Forsaken who is like always like fearful to act. And calls her the spider, and this girl is wearing like black silk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that is my guess, especially because she's like managed to remain in the shadows. Mm-hmm. I think that Lanfear takes that as meaning like very afraid to like act or whatever it is. But that is my guess. That is my guess of who it is.
So Mogadishu shows up. Margot. Yes, it is the Elden Ring boss, Margot.
It's Margot Robbie, actually.
Margot. Good casting.
Thank you.
Good casting. Margot Robbie, do you want to be in the Wheel of Time?
Rantamore, thank you for the super
Margot
chat.
Robbie should be Lanfear. Like, if you're gonna have Lanfear.
She is
or
like the
Alexandra
hottest woman
Daddario.
alive. Yeah.
It's either, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or Lupita Nyong'o.
Moff Gideon. Oh my god.
Moff Gideon.
Yeah, that is my guess.
It's Moff Gerard. Moff Gerard shows up.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Can you tell we're going to Star Wars Celebration in 10 days? I know, right? No. Longer than that.
Not that much longer.
Not that much longer. Yeah, so this woman is like, hey, like, tell me everything. And they're like, okay. And they tell her everything. And she's like, oh, the Black Lodge is here. That's interesting. Why are the other Forsaken always doing dumb stuff? When I'm so smart and I'm the best Forsaken. She doesn't say Forsaken, but like, come on, she's a Forsaken. She has to be a Forsaken.
She's 100% Forsaken. She knows who Lanfear is. She knows who Balzman is.
She knows who Luce Theron is and remembers him.
Yeah.
Like, she literally has to be a Forsaken, but she's not Lanfear, because Lanfear doesn't operate this way. Lanfear would walk in the room and be like, hi, I'm Lanfear. I'm gonna have sex with Rand soon. Because
I'm gonna get laid.
He's mine.
Yeah. That's Lanfear. That's 100%. No, yeah, this is definitely not Lanfear. I think it's Mogadishu. I think is how, I don't know how you say it. However, that she asks about like Angreal, Sir Angreal. And because the ring is not in the room, Elayne doesn't tell her about it.
So she's like she tells them to open their coin purses. And then she asks if there's anything in the room, but they forget about the necklaces that we have been repeatedly told are between the women's breasts.
Yes.
Just in case you didn't
know where necklaces dangled.
It is between the women's breasts.
Yes.
As opposed to on one boob or in the back.
No.
No.
Right in the middle.
It's between the women's breasts.
In case you forgot.
And she's like, all right, you don't remember this. And then she leaves. And you're like, wow, that's very powerful.
Very powerful and terrifying.
Terrifying.
Like, she could just walk into, like, the king's chamber, be like, do what I want, and forget about me. Okay, bye.
Do you think that this is the first time she's interacted with any of our main characters? Or are there other moments that we're going to find out later she was a part of that our main characters just don't remember? Because she's the perfect retcon device. If Robert Jordan needs to retcon a moment earlier in the books, he can be like, oh no, it's a flashback to something that happened that our main characters don't remember happening.
I don't think that anything that has currently happened, she's been there for or anything. I don't think it's... I think there will be future times.
Oh, okay.
Like things that will happen that we find out about later that the characters forgot. But I don't think anything up until this point. No.
Yeah.
No, if I were to make a guess. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, she's terrifying. And the girls, terrible spies. Absolutely garbage
Awful.
spies.
Just the worst. But they keep the ring. They keep Teleran ring. And good for them.
Thank God.
We get a quick little bit with Aviendha as she's like leaving because she's nervous because she leaves really quickly because Tom is like Bail Doman's men. And she's like, oh, Bail Doman knows me.
He knows me.
I did kidnap his ship.
Yeah, and like steal all of his...
I did kidnap his ship.
Quirlandor. Beds.
Quirlandor? And so she's like... She literally is passing by and she's like, did they recognize me? No? Okay, we're good. And then she gets to the end of the street and she has that moment where she's like, I just talked to an Aes Sedai. Oh my God, I just talked to an Aes Sedai. Oh my God, I just talked to an Aes Sedai. Oh my God, I just talked to an Aes Sedai. And you're like, yeah, you did.
She's like, wow, you guys are not what I thought you were. Cool. Yeah, Aegeanen's worldview is crumbling around her and I'm here for it.
And then we get the final POV of this chapter that is some random dude who's also Sanchin that is following Aegeanen.
Yeah.
And is the guy who broke the guy's arm earlier behind her.
I'm assuming it's the guy she talked to in her previous
the
POV.
Seeker?
Yeah. I'm assuming it's the Seeker.
Why would he hide from her, though?
Don't know.
He can just demand information from her, and she seems willing to freely give it.
Yes, but sometimes you can learn more from, like, observing.
I guess.
I just that's my guess. That's what I think it is.
I think it's it's possible. I do think it's more interesting if it's a new Sanchin element.
I think there's 3 Sanchin in.
Well, I mean, there's many Sanchin here, right? Because her whole. I think there's a lot of Sanchin in Tanchico. Why are the Sanchin in Tanchico? That I don't know. I don't actually understand why the Sanchin are here. Like, that's interesting to me. And I hope that we find out, like, a solid reason, but...
I think they're just gathering intel on, like, how best
Secret
to
agent.
strike, right?
Secret is a spy? Yeah, maybe.
Because here's the thing, like...
There's nothing in there that says that it's the Secret from the previous chapter.
He doesn't know whether or not she is lying or not, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and I think, like... following to confirm, because here's the thing, if he finds out that she is lying, he can have her, I don't know, dead, enslaved, I don't know, like...
Can he?
Yeah, he has the authority of the
who's
blood.
Gonna do it? Does he have people with him?
If he goes back to what's-her-face on the ship.
And then they raid Tanchico? This is my point, right? Like...
Well, no, I think he would, like, take her out and bring her in.
Oh, okay, yeah. That makes sense.
I don't know. Like, we'll see.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary friends. We're at chapter 47. When I tell you, this is the craziest chapter, I don't even know how to talk about this chapter. Do you like this chapter?
Do I like it? Yes and no.
Same.
Yes and no. Yes and no. So we get to Min, Siuan, White Tower, shenanigans.
Shenanigans is a word for what happens.
And, you know, Siuan's going through her paperwork, and she's like, wow, this is suspicious. You know what? This is also...
Wow, Danella really wants a lot of men to build the library. That's
weird.
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah and the farmer disappeared. That's strange. And then she, like, goes through her own notes and then just, like, rereads the one that, like, Maureen sent her again.
She probably reads that note every single day.
Probably. But then Elayne bursts into her room.
Yeah.
Takes the Emerlin stole off of her shoulders and is like, I'm the Emerlin now. And, like, they've like, shielded Siuan and they've murdered her warder.
Yeah. And gagged Lyanna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's... Wow.
It moves so fast.
And
I...
Terrible, no good, very bad day. Yeah, Siuan is not having a good time. And my biggest problem with this whole chapter is that it feels like Siuan is kind of...
Incompetent?
Yes. Yeah. Siuan is incompetent. She didn't see any of this coming. She had no security. You know, they literally had Block Aja in their walls, and she only had Leanne to watch her back. Like there's no safeguards here. She safeguarded her little, like, box or whatever. It's fine. But she's, like... Siuan isn't really good at, like, the Game of Thrones, I guess.
What's confusing about it for me is that I didn't understand the White Tower's politics enough. We talked about that a lot on here. And then it seemed like Elayne took power really quickly without any buildup and without Siuan having any idea that it was coming.
Yeah, like, we knew Elayne has her visions and is like, this like, path that I need to pursue. Yeah. And we know that she was, like, talking to the one, like, White Aja, being like, about, so Siuan, some shady stuff. But other than that...
Yeah.
Siuan fucks up.
We only see Elayne talk to one person about it, and then suddenly the entire tower is against Siuan.
And they vote to remove her from the Emerald Sea.
Siuan
what?
doesn't even, how Siuan has no heads up that there's even a vote, that people are gathering. It just
nobody
seems...
tells... Yeah. Hold your fire.
Hold your fire, thank you for joining the Nards.
Welcome to the Nerd Table. We appreciate it.
It just comes so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then my problem with it is that... Siuan is committing treason, actually. No, she isn't, because
she's not anymore.
The White Tower, this starts with the White Tower, with Siuan going, it's good that the White Tower voted that I can work with Rand.
Yes.
So
she is not...
The White Tower, the book mentions that the White Tower is behind her. The sitters all vote for them to work with Rand.
To work with Rand, yeah.
And so she's
now
not
she's
committing treason.
not committing treason anymore. So it doesn't, like, it doesn't
But
really
then
matter.
also, so Elayne gets the majority of the tower on her side really fast.
Yeah.
And...
Like really fast.
I'm fine with that. That part doesn't bug me so much.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of does is that they still Siuan. They still Siuan and Lyanna without hearing them at all, without a trial.
There's no trial.
There's no process.
Like, they give Logain more of a hearing than they give Siuan, which is wild to me.
Ransomware, thank you so much for the super chat.
So much for that
Maybe
super
the reader
chat.
is supposed to feel as blindsided as Siuan does. I see your point. So it just makes Siuan seem like she's an idiot.
Yeah, and I don't love that, but, you know, she's gonna have some changing and growing to do. But yeah, like first of all, Siuan doesn't feel that her warder dies, which seems super weird considering the bond that's there.
Okay,
Like,
there's a lot of people in chat saying, does she get the tower on her side? Yes, because they
Yeah,
still
there
her
is a
while she's
war.
unconscious.
Yeah.
You cannot make the argument. You cannot make the argument that she has that the way that this goes down is appropriate.
Yeah,
right?
like if Elayne, okay, say we never really established, I don't think, how many Aes Sedai are in the tower, but say there's like 600, whatever. Say there's 600 Aes Sedai in the tower, and Elayne gets like 50 of them on her side, they'd be wiped out. You know what I mean? Like, she has to get so many people on her side. And this is another reason why the White Tower feels so small. It feels like there's like maybe like 75 Aes Sedai.
Yes. It doesn't
Right?
seem like there are enough Aes Sedai in this tower for it to be the White Tower.
Yeah.
Because the way that this goes down, there's no, like...
Yeah, she was like tortured and stilled.
Yeah.
She did not get to like appear in like a court. She did not get to like defend herself in any way. She was like tortured to breaking point.
She is here's what's weird though. She's tortured until she tells them almost everything, right? Is what is said, right? She's like, "Oh, I told them almost everything."
Yeah.
And then she's stilled.
But the
so
fact-
maybe that is their idea of court. But if the White Tower's structure is built around torturing prisoners, that's like, you can't then be good people. Like,
yeah, like Elayne cannot believe that she's a good person.
And I think that that's my problem with it, is that the people who have now taken over can't possibly think that they're good. But Elayne can't be a dark friend, or else it makes the point of view chapter with her in the last time we talked about her like really frustrating and dumb. Because I hate when people lie. I hate when the author lies in POVs to the audience.
Yeah.
I think that doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree.
Faye Haas, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you.
They only get the bare minimum for the vote, and the question to ask is who benefits from Siuan being deposed. In conclusion, though, boo Elayne.
Well,
100%.
absolutely.
I think that, like, if you were to barely get enough people to vote for the deposition,
and there's like 300 other Aes Sedai, like, you'd be taken out immediately. Like,
they wouldn't go to war the way that they do.
The entire tower is fighting one another.
And
like,
Min says not that many people come to her defense, right?
Yeah.
It's just very odd. And I think that if we had seen any of it, it would make more sense to me.
Yeah.
But because it's all off screen, the only thing we get is that Siuan told them, but we don't see it. You know what I mean? We don't see any of it. I think that if we had seen any part of it, if Robert Jordan had given us a little bit more perspective into what was going on, because we're switching through these point of views that's just hiding all of the information from us, that I think that I would have bought into it more. But because of the way that it goes down, Min makes it seem like none of their Aes Sedai really fought for Siuan's side, and that everyone just kind of hated Siuan.
Nobody stood up for Siuan, which seems weird because she was voted in. Like, she became Amyrlin. Nemsi says that by far Red are the largest Aja, but we've never been told that. Like, that's not like a thing that the book has set up for us.
Yeah,
we know that there's a lot of Red Aja, but how, like, yeah, the fact that nobody stands up for Siuan.
Yeah, and it's also weird that the warders were trying to break them out. Like, whose warders? Are the warders and the Aes Sedai on different sides?
When the warders are fighting one another, like, it is like madness.
It is intentionally confusing, but for something that has such drastic consequences for the entire series, I wish that this had been given more time. This is such a huge beat. And maybe it is. Maybe we get flashbacks to this in the rest of the book. Maybe there is more. But in the way that we're going through... In the way that we're going through the books, it was a frustrating chapter a little bit.
Yeah.
Just from the perspective of being like, oh, okay, they stilled her? okay. Finding that out after the moment was like, all right, yeah, I guess.
It's like, this moved so fast.
Yeah.
And I think that, yeah.
And coups move fast. Like, coups usually move fast. But, like, Elayne isn't evil. And so it's just interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that Elayne is, like, just fine with, like, murdering and stealing a bunch of her, like, sister Aes Sedai because of her, like, visions and her jealousy.
And executing the warder. Like, executing the warder on the way in before you've even, like, arrested anyone.
You don't know that Siuan is guilty of anything.
Yeah, and like, the Aes Sedai we've never seen them to, like, just kill people like that, right? Like, they have the power to hold him. Why did they stab him in the back?
Yeah, like, they're not allowed, I guess they can't use the power as a weapon.
They can use a knife.
But they can use a knife, I guess, but...
Franklin Cheatham says men aren't real people to Elayne. That's a really messed up reason for her to murder someone.
Well, I mean, it is kind of true. Like, she does hate
Someone
men.
earlier said that the warder was executed. No, he was murdered. If you stab someone in the back, you don't execute them.
Back, yeah.
You murdered them.
But, like, yeah, if it's a bunch of red sisters, I guess they don't see warders or, like, men as, like, worth anything. It just this part just seemed the events that happened, I think, like, in regards to the book and how it functions and the story that it's trying to tell, great. But the way that it happened and the speed of it was, I don't know. I didn't love it. I just didn't love how it was done.
I love the events. Yeah. I think the White Tower falling, we called it. This is what I thought was going to happen. I just wish that it had been presented in a way where we got to be along for the journey a little bit more, as opposed to being along for the aftermath a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a big moment to kind of be told that it happened. And I think that that's ultimately what it is. It doesn't happen for the audience. The audience is told that it happened. Mm-hmm. And that ultimately is what I think is what strikes me about it.
Yeah.
Is that I wish that we had been along for the ride of this a little bit more than we got to be.
Yeah, for sure.
And instead, it's just kind of like, oh yeah, the White Tower fell. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really quick.
It literally just crumbled to pieces in the span of, like, 20 pages. Gunlever, here's the thing. The warder could not have known that Elayne was the new Amyrlin because they didn't get invited to the vote or the meeting or whatever the heck it was. Like, they didn't know what was going on. They literally just, like, straight up murdered him, like, in cold blood.
He got stabbed in the literal back.
Yeah. Yeah, it was messed up. Reading this was wild.
This also just makes the White Tower, the fact that that it can fall apart this quickly makes it insane that it still exists. Like, the fact that the White Tower with this voting system managed to last this long is magic.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they secretly vote to completely change the power structure of the White Tower.
Yeah.
And still, and this book makes such a big deal of, like, we know the name of every woman who's ever been stilled and why.
Yes, every single person, because it barely ever happens. And Elayne, after a couple hours of torture, is like, yeah, you know what, it's time, still her. Like, did the council vote on that as well, or did Elayne just decide? Like, it was something. Yeah, it was something. But what happens is interesting. It gets Min out of the tower. We get Laris. Guys, we need a new
Laris
book.
Is incredible.
We need a book. We need a new prequel book with Laris's backstory, because I need to know who this woman is.
Laris is like, sometimes you go so crazy that you almost get hanged. And Min is like, what?
Yeah.
What was your life?
Yeah.
We don't have time to get into it now, but like...
But like, what is wrong with you?
No, I love Laris so much. Laris here is... Because you totally understand her point of view, right? She's like, look, I don't want Siuan to be murdered, but, like, I'm going to stay and do my job. One Amyrlin is the same to me as another, but Siuan was good, and I'm not, you know, I'll help you.
Yeah.
And, like, Laris is... Because I didn't like Laris. Like, I didn't... It's not that I didn't like Laris. I just kind of was like, okay, this woman who's, like, obsessed with Min's prettiness is a little weird. But now I'm like, God, this character's awesome.
Yeah.
So fantastic. Laris's moments in this, and the fact that Min is like... if you let me beat up the prisoners, I'll give you a kiss. And the guy's like, yeah, okay. And Laris is like, no, we're not playing that game.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, so Laris helps Min get the Amyrlin and Leanne out.
Thank God they bring clothes.
Yeah, thank God they bring clothes. Could you imagine them trying to just run naked through the streets?
Laris is the soup captain.
Soup captain.
Yeah, but also considering you just deposed this leader and you just fought like an internal battle about this leader, like, and then this makes Elayne look like an idiot. You have one guard? There's one dude guarding?
Yeah, they're literally running around inside the tower fighting. Like, you see Elayne run by.
The warders just revolted.
Yeah.
Hammer and Coolin had to die because they revolted, and you left one guard? Like, it's not even like it's like 3 months later. This is the same, it's like 3 hours.
Yep.
There's one dude.
Yep.
Like...
Yeah, so anyways, Siuan is able to escape. It's super easy, barely an inconvenience.
But Intrinsical says Elayne is an idiot. Here's the problem. Elayne cannot be both so amazing that she can take out the tower without Siuan ever knowing, and also dumb. She's both. I'll go get it. You talk about the... Keep going with chat for a second.
So sorry.
Hello?
Y'all, Nerdy is going to take a moment because Amazon can never, ever, 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 ever find our building, even though it's really not that difficult. Yeah, I just don't like it. I don't like how it's done. I don't have a problem with the things that are done and like the actual things that happen. It just makes it seem like an absolute gong show. It makes it seem like a gong show. Yeah, take your keys, Nerdy. And I don't like it. Because then Elayne also seems dumb because there's barely any guards. I mean, I guess she just is like, oh, they're still, like, what are they gonna do? But literally, the Hammer and Coolin almost tried to, they tried to break her out, okay? And there was, like, a battle over it. Like, you would think that if you know people are still against you, like, they're running around, like, they're still fighting. If you know people are still against you, you should definitely post more guards. You can have people, like, walking around, making sure that the Amyrlin doesn't just walk right out of the building. Like, yeah, she just walks out of the building, basically. I don't know. I didn't love it, but then we run into Gawyn, y'all. And, yeah, I think he's got his keys. It's all good, guys. We run into Gawyn. And this makes me very sad. Because I've really liked Gawyn up until this point. And I think that Gawyn's motives make sense. I get it. I don't think Nerdy agrees with me. I think he's like, the fuck, Gawyn. But... I kind of understand where he's coming from. And now it makes Gawyn and Galad's relationship a lot more interesting. Because I don't know what... Because we don't know what Galad was doing this entire time. I'm really excited to find out because I have no idea. But yeah, he's... Poor Gawyn. Poor Gawyn is like, you didn't tell me where my sister is. And so murders Hamar and Coolin to stop them, like, breaking Siuan out of prison. First of all, Gawyn, S-tier swordsman. He just, like, murdered all of his teachers. Casual. But it makes me so sad because Gawyn has made the wrong choice, y'all. Gawyn made the wrong choice. And the moment where Min sees above his head the, like, flickering of two different outcomes from this is fascinating. I feel bad. I've really liked Gawyn up until this point. I have, and I am disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed, Gawyn, because I really like Gawyn and, like, the possibility of Egwene, which Min. Oh my god, babe. Which we see the vision of. We moved on to Gawyn.
That Amazon driver is a moron.
They normally.
He's like, I'm on the roadside. I was like, what? And then I get to the car, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, your flashlight's on.
And I was like, all right, thanks. And then he was like, oh, he's like, I have 4 packages for this building. Can you give this? And he started to like try and hand me other people's packages. I was like, no, I'm not delivering packages right now. Like, I'm not taking other people's mail and going around the building delivering mail.
What? He just was gonna give you a bunch of other people's mail?
He like scanned them all and he's like, can I give these to you? And I was like, no, you cannot give them to me.
I am not responsible. No. Oh my god. That's that's a new one. Yeah, we were talking to
I hope he's in the chat. Don't do that.
Yeah, you don't. Anyways, we're talking about Gawyn. We're talking about how Gawyn made... I've loved Gawyn up until now, and he's made the wrong choice, and it makes me sad. Mm-hmm. And the, like, vision that Min sees, like, flickering above his head, super interesting. Because he's either going to straight up murder Egwene, or Egwene's going to give him a spanking.
No.
No?
No, I don't think she spanks him. I think she throws him in prison.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like I don't think he can be redeemed, right?
I think so. I think there's a chance.
I don't know. What's so fascinating about this is that Galad is nowhere to be seen.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I have no idea what happened to Galad at this point, but I'll be interested to find out. Gawyn.
It's tough. I
don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
This character development for him felt a little bit like it came out of nowhere a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think it came out of nowhere. I think he's been so frustrated with Siuan this whole time.
Sure, but like killing Cameron Cullen, it's just like if you were like Galad was able to take out Hamar, I'd be like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, Galad's like the best of them, but like. The warders have superpowers.
Uh-huh.
Gawyn doesn't.
Are Hamar and Cullen warders?
Are they not?
I thought they, like, trained the warders, but I am actually not 100% sure if they are actually...
Gawyn did nothing wrong? Not technically, right? Like, from a legal perspective, he didn't. He fought on the side of the properly, although questionably elected... Well, no, but they have the votes, like, right? So, like, from a legal perspective, he didn't do anything wrong. What I think that's like I'm not saying Gawyn did anything wrong, but I'm saying that like when Egwene and Gawyn meet again, Egwene's gonna look at Gawyn like he's a idiot.
I mean, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't think Egwene and Gawyn end up together. She's not gonna be like, oh yeah, you fought on the side of. Well, maybe she.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Sad because I think that they would be good together. But...
They are warders, right?
Okay, they are. Okay.
So like Gawyn is apparently has become a god tier swordsman.
He pulled a mat and now it's just.
Robert Parr brings up an interesting thing. I think that's part of the point is that the sequence is to show that Gawyn has been underestimated the entire time. I agree with that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And that we haven't been like privy to the things he's actually thinking.
And
right?
here's the thing, and people are bringing this up. Gawyn brought up that Gawyn was brought up with Aleida. Like Aleida, in Gawyn's eyes, Aleida is this person he's known all of his life. He probably trusts implicitly.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like he's been in court with her his whole life.
Yeah.
She's been like one of the female adults who's probably closest to. Yeah. So if Aleida was like, look, this is what we're doing.
I mean, I know they don't really like her that much, but still, she is like an authority figure.
Yeah, but like not wanting to be around her versus like his mom trusted her implicitly his whole life. That has an effect on someone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think that's valid. It makes me sad because I really like Gawyn and I don't know where his story goes from here.
Yeah.
Min has the 2 different like visions flickering above her head.
But also like, does Egwene go back to the tower? I don't think she will.
Egwene's gonna become Amyrlin.
I think Egwene's gonna become Amyrlin of the like posse that Siuan creates. I think we're gonna have 2 like towers, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna have
the 2 towers.
The 2 towers.
Yeah, no.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. God.
I think so. But we missed we haven't got to the most important part of this chapter yet. Do you know what that is?
Loghain?
Bella's
still alive. Yeah.
Bella becomes Siuan's horse, and I just.
Right, yeah. And she's like, awesome. I'm gonna ride that one because I'm not good at riding.
Yeah, that one looks tame.
Gawyn's first big mistake, acting too much like Galad, did the right thing regardless of who he hurt. Look, I want to be really clear. I don't think Gawyn did anything wrong legally.
Yeah.
But I think that for the characters that he cares about, this is going to be viewed as doing the wrong thing by them, and he's going to feel like he's going to face the consequences of his actions eventually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that he did anything wrong technically, but it's going to feel like he did soon.
Yeah. Brian, thank you so much for that super chat.
Thank you so much for the super chat.
Bella shows up and carries Siuan to safety, and before that, they hitch up Logain as part of the crew. Basically, Siuan is like, do you want revenge? I am the one person in the world who can give it to you, so let's fucking go.
I'm not old, I'm vintage, says, but Gondor has no Amerlin. Where was the White Tower when the Westfold fell?
Gondor needs no Amerlin.
So that's kind of it. They like ride off. They get out of town because Lyanna wants to take a boat to get as far away as possible, as quickly. But Siuan's like, nah, I gotta be nearby if I'm gonna rebuild.
Yeah.
Siuan's got plans. What I love about Siuan in these chapters, I don't know if you said this while I was not locking myself out of the house, like the first episode of this podcast.
Yeah, everyone was saying make sure you bring your keys.
What I love about it is that Siuan is immediately on the how am I going to survive? How am I going to give myself purpose to survive?
Yes.
And she treats it differently than anyone else who's stilled.
Yeah, the women who are stilled never live very long, which we hear. And she's like, well, there's the void and you need to fill it.
Yeah.
Basically. God, I'm so excited to see where Logain plays into all of this coming up next.
I still think that he is going to train Rand. I still think he's going to. He's the only one who can. And he's with Siuan, and, like, I think that Siuan and Moiraine are going to get back together, right? So, like, I think that Logain, I stand by it. I think Logain is going to be the one who trains Rand. Yeah. And, guys, my predictions are getting more correct, because I called this.
Yeah.
I called the White Tower falling this way. Right? Am I wrong? I did it.
Yeah, I think that the halo that means glory or whatever the vision was, I think it's going to, I think it could be that he, like, stands beside Rand and, like, trains him.
Before we move on to the Rand stuff, I want to ask, where do you think Galad fought in this battle? Do you think we're going to find out that Galad fought in this battle? Because he's definitely alive. There's no way we would have, like, if Galad had died in this battle, we would know.
No, yeah, he's still alive.
Do you think he fought in it?
I wonder if he was at the bar with the Whitecloaks. And he just missed it.
I want the next chapter. I want chapter 51 to be Galad POV, and he, like, walks up to the White Tower, and he's like, what's happening?
Where?
He's a little bit like a little bit drunk, and he's like, something feels weird.
Yeah, something.
And then he sees Gawyn, and he's like, Gawyn, what's up? And he's like, where were you? I was training with Hammer and Coolin.
No, you weren't, because I killed them.
Oh man, I love Logain, guys. You guys know I've loved Logain since the beginning, and I'm really into like this guy who had power who can find his life again. I think that that's a really interesting story to tell, and I'm excited for them to get to it.
Yeah.
Not as excited as I am to, like, get to the end of Perrin's story in this book, but, you know. Mm-hmm. We have one last story to talk about. The 3 chapters of Rand.
Rand al'Thor.
Rand al'Thor has been traveling for 11 days. Mat still trying to hit on Isender. Aviendha still being a pain in his butt.
Yeah.
Moiraine, still not really communicating very well.
I love the entire section of, like, the very end of this, like, chunk where it's like, if only I could trust Moiraine, and I'm like, oh, God, like, you could really use some help here.
If only he could trust Moiraine. Egwene has lost her little braids. She's not a child anymore.
Yeah.
Kadir keeps talking to Rand about stuff. He's like, hey. Wait, we skipped over something.
What?
Gawyn's company are the younglings.
Oh, yeah.
And the actor who plays Rand looks like Hayden Christensen. Do you think Rand is going to wipe out the younglings? I'm just saying.
I'm not saying it won't happen.
I'm just saying, are we going to see someone wipe out the younglings? Maybe the Dark One will wipe out the younglings. Or his apprentice. The Dark One's apprentice will wipe out the younglings. It's going to be a big Star Wars reference.
Oh my God. You know, somehow I don't think so.
Anyway, back with Rand. Aviendha's basically been like tasked with teaching Rand the Aiel ways.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not good at it because she's so contemptuous about it.
Yeah. She just loves to shit on Rand. Like she does not like to make his life any easier.
How do you feel about the Aiel concept of the roof mistress?
Everything about the Aiel is weird to me. I'm like, where did Robert Jordan get the inspiration to write all of these? It's fascinating.
Apparently in the spoiler chat they had a bet about whether or not I was going to bring up the younglings. Of course you guys did.
Shocked. I am shocked.
What were you saying?
The Aiel are weird. They're fucking weird.
I like the roof mistress idea.
Yeah. I love that, like, it's, like she can just deny anyone anytime. Whatever, doesn't matter.
But she can also deny her husband, and I'm like, wow, your marriages must be tough.
Yeah, like, I'm sure it doesn't happen that often.
Hold Your Fire, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you, Hold Your Fire.
Don't get to catch y'all live very often, but I love watching the Nerd Book Club every week. Oh, thank you. Your discussions remind me how much I love these books. Thanks so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Y'all are the best. Yeah, the Roof Mistress is fun. I like the moment where she like kills the lizard in front of him, and then later when the wise ones are like, she's probably teaching you how to milk the lizards, and Rand is like,
why would you milk?
You can milk the lizard?
Yeah,
what?
he's like.
And Aviendha's like, I showed him what it was. I didn't show him how to milk it.
Yeah. Or the maiden hand talk.
Maiden hand talk.
Yeah. What do you think maiden hand talk is?
I think it is fingering.
Yes, Aviendha is showing him how to please Elayne, because foreplay is important. Oh my god! Wow.
But also, we learn in this, Aviendha has joined the sex dreams that Rand is having.
Yep.
Or not sex dreams. Sorry, the nude swimming dreams.
The basically wet dreams. Oh my god! I was thinking it was like hand-to-hand combat, but wow,
No, I think it's some sort of like sign language that they use to like.
Oh, for communicating like
silently.
Well, yeah, so they don't make noise.
Because they're all stealth, right?
That makes sense. Actually, that makes sense. I was like, I don't know what this is supposed to be. Kevin, thank you for becoming a Narg of the Nerd.
Kevin, thank you so much for joining the Nargs. Main hand talk equals American Sign Language. I think it's some kind of
Yeah.
Milking the lizard is a hand job. Like your brother, you're probably right.
Probably.
So we get to chapter 49. We get they cross for 11 days, and Rand is they make it to Rock's Hold, which is the hold of under Leanne's roof, even though there isn't a roof, because they get up to basically a wall in a cliff, and they're like, we're here, and Rand's like,
are you sure? Where? I don't understand.
And Aviendha's like, you can't see it? And he's like, no. And then she's like, okay, we just have to go through the rocks and it's on the other side. And I'm like, well, of course you couldn't see it. Like, sometimes she's like, you don't understand. But then sometimes she's like, duh. And you're like, okay, Aviendha, you're smart enough to know it wasn't obvious.
Yeah, this is the moment where I love that we walked straight into Dune. And the Aiel truly become the Fremen.
This is...
If they weren't already.
This is so hardcore Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so cool. The visual of Cold Rock's Hold was... like blew my mind. Like I could see it clearly. I loved that the colorful decor and stuff had been kept from like the Tuathan, like when they split, like that like vibrant color, like they still share that thing even though they're so far separated now. I want to like visit this place. I know it doesn't exist, but like it sounds amazing.
Yeah, and we get some interesting politics right away. Rhuarc is like, wife, can I come home? And she's like, hell yeah, you can come home.
Hell yeah, get on over here.
And then Couladin's like, woman, can I come in your house? And she's like, you can have the scraps that you can eat out of the garbage can out back if you want.
She welcomes him as a beggar, which...
Yeah. Because he asks... as if
Yes.
he's a clan chief.
Yes, and he is not clan chief.
And Aviendha's like, throughout all this, Aviendha's like,
God,
so this is what's happening.
Yeah.
This week on The Walking Dead, welcome to Talking Dead. My name's Chris Hardwick. And yeah, so Aviendha's explaining.
Yeah. She's like, this is what's happening. Yeah, Couladin is like, I'm a clan chief. Let me under your roof. And she's like, you can come under my roof as a beggar.
And everyone's like, oh,
damn.
shit.
And they do the like,
oh, she got him so
thing
good.
that I don't understand how people do. Yeah, I don't get it.
This used to be the coolest thing.
Oh, I know.
When we were kids.
I hated it because I could never do it. Yeah, I don't get it. But that's basically what happens.
Yeah.
Summarize the scene for you.
Yeah. And then Rand is like, Rand asks like very like humbly if he can come in too. And Aviendha's like, you are supposed to act like you're a clan chief.
To do this one.
But then she's like, humility's nice in a boy.
Yeah. She likes it.
I like you.
Yeah.
Young Hayden Christensen.
Yeah. She likes it. He comes on in and they eat while lying on their stomachs.
Yeah, this is interesting. I would hate this.
I would hate this so much.
Because you have to hold your head up. Like the back of your neck, like the way that they're positioned for this meal really it just sounds awful. Also, there would be Guy Shan like walking over you to get to the center. I don't think I can like I don't even think I can eat like laying down, but like laying on my stomach and having it like press into the like I don't like it at all. The stomach part is not great either, but like for me it would really be the back of my neck. And also like rolling
No, it seems it's awful. I hate it.
It's interesting and like I think you'd probably get used to it.
Yeah.
Right? Gunleaver says that you look like Anya Taylor-Joy. You've never heard that before.
Thank you, Gunleaver. I do get that a lot.
Yeah. Joe Chia says how the hell you're supposed to eat soup laying down. That's true.
I don't know. I don't understand this one. It's a weird Aiel thing, and even Rand is like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But Aviendha just keeps up this like never-ending stream of information just to like piss Rand off.
And Aviendha is complaining that she can't talk to the person on her other side, which is rude. To which Matt, who is on the other side, is like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But Aviendha, not only is Rand lying on his stomach, Aviendha is lying on her side, talking to Rand, eating somehow. And I'm like, how is she? So she's probably just reaching with one hand. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would have to try it. Should we do that as a YouTube video? Should we try and eat a meal lying down, Aiel style?
Yes, we should.
All right, coming to the YouTube, we're gonna eat. We're gonna order pho tonight, and we're gonna eat it Aiel style on the floor.
While we're in Jamaica, we'll set up like a picnic blanket on the beach, and we'll have like a picnic on our stomachs, and we'll see if it is awful or not.
Wheel of Time says the Aiel are famous for their use of crazy straws in soup bowls. Well, those crazy straws are made out of plastic, so they would survive the breaking. They would survive the breaking, that is true. The one thing about the Wheel of Time that is utterly unrealistic is the lack of plastic from our time that has just survived into the future. Yeah. There would be so much plastic crap that is not decomposed yet. We make plastics that are going to last like 10,000 years. They would find like rubber car tires and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it is the thing that is missing from this entire franchise is them being like, what is this? Oh, that's Tupperware. We don't know what it's for, but maybe the like actual breaking was like all along the like garbage piles and it just like fell through to the center of the earth. Jesse Garrison says Age of Legends managed to figure that out. Yeah, in the Age of Legends they managed to recycle all of our trash. They got rid of it. That would be nice. That would be nice. And so so we get to Rand being like, Faye Haas, thank you for that super chat. Rand and Matt's introduction to polygamy was so funny. Good. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Faye. Oh my God. Okay, y'all. Chat, you're wrong. Chat. Why you gotta do? We were like, the Aiel totally have threesomes, and chat was like, no, they don't. Yeah. Yes, they do. Rand and Matt are looking at the two women, and they're like, they seem to be looking at each other as fondly as they look at their husband. Yeah, I'm like, duh. Yeah. That's just what would happen. Like, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, chat, we were right. We were right. There are bisexuals confirmed. Yes. Most of the Aiel are bisexual. We don't know that most of them have multiple wives.
I guess.
You know what I mean?
I guess the difference is that it's not like a taboo, like wrong thing. You know what I mean? Like in our society, like being bi or being like poly or open relationships or whatever it is like to a lot of people. They're like, oh my gosh, what? And in Aiel culture, it doesn't matter. And so if you are bi, you don't have to like come out about it. You know what I mean? There's not like a thing. Or if you do have like a sister wife, it's not a weird thing. So there's no reason. Yeah, it's Orchid Eater says polygamy does not imply threesomes. Yes, it does not imply threesomes, but they happen. But this chapter is literally like they were looking at each other as fondly as they were looking at, like, it's very obvious. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They happen. Look, here's the thing. Group sex has happened in human society since the very beginning of human society. Those Greeks were freaky. It just happens. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how to break it to you guys, but the Aiel definitely have threesomes, and that is just confirmed. It's not like confirmed, but like it happens. Sisters don't have sex, yo. Pretty obvious. They're not blood sisters. Stay calm, chat. Stay calm. They're not blood sisters. Like they're not related. Anyways, we've had this discussion before. The Aiel definitely have threesomes. That's it. Some of them do, and some of them don't. Here's the thing. There are going to be relationships that do, and there are going to be relationships that don't. Yeah. The Aiel are going to contain multitudes. But to say it's 100% one or 100% the other is what's wrong. Yeah. I'm not saying that not every single one of them does. But in some of the couples they will. Yeah. And in some of the couples they won't. Yeah. And that's just how it's going to be. Yeah. Yeah, like it doesn't... I don't see how that's... humans are a plethora of emotions. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's life. Yeah, absolutely. So then Rand is like, I'm gonna go bed. Basically, yeah. Well, no, wait, does he go to bed first, or does he go... do we want to try and get into, like, before Ruark and him have a conversation, they have a long conversation about which seps might go for him and which ones might not be on his side when they get to the Golden Bowl. But, like... The Golden Bowl. Some of the seps, a bunch of characters we've never met before are mentioned as being either clan chiefs that are going to go with Rand's side and clan chiefs that might not. The Shido clan chief doesn't exist, and so it's going to be the clan chief's wife who will decide, and she's kind of sus. Yeah. But other than that, I don't really know. Like, it was just a bunch of names. We find out Savannah might be a problem. But no, does the bracelet thing happen before he goes to bed? Isn't that the next day? I don't think there is a next day. I think they literally... Oh, I thought the Drakkar attack was the second night they were there. Is that the first night? I think it all happens in one day. So yeah, so it does happen before they goes to bed. Cool. So Rand is basically... For some reason, I thought they went to bed after this meal and then the next chapter starts the next morning. But I could be wrong about that. No, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. So Rand is like, Aviendha clearly hates me. And like, I'm going to give her a gift. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna like try and like placate her because she's done a lot for me, and like I don't want her to think that I'm ungrateful, and maybe like showing my appreciation will mean that she'll like chill out a little bit. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I think that's like pretty sound logic. I'm like, okay, Rand, I see where you're coming from. And so he goes to the house of the Maidens of the Spear, I guess. Yes. They have like their mansion. Yeah, because until they sister up and marry a man together, they don't need no man. Yeah. 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 But no women have sex in that house ever. No, definitely not. God damn. Absolutely not. I spent too much time in Catholic school to think anything that chat thinks is possible is possible. The Golden Bowl, Eric Schwenke, the Golden Bowl does sound like an all-you-can-eat buffet. It does, absolutely. It's a bribe, JJ Puckhead. It's a bribe. He goes to get a gift for her as a bribe as a bride. Well. So he goes to the Maidens of the Spirit and he tries to trade for this bracelet. And once he tells them what it's for, this no payment, no payment. It's yours. You take it. And he's like, wow, okay, wow, that's really nice. Okay. And then they come over and what is they say? They give him a cup of tea, and then he takes a sip of the tea, and then they kiss him. Yeah, and they say, and like, this something goes on honor. For 70 women. 70 women kiss Rand. And if you don't think the Aiel are poly, I don't know what to tell you.
This book was not written during COVID.
No.
Can you imagine kissing 70 people right now?
Remember honor. Thank you. That's
Remember honor. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like something honor. 70.
I thought it was like 12, which is fine. But in the next paragraph, when Rand is like, it was like 70 of them. I was like, what?
Yeah.
He stood there for like 20 minutes while women went, remember honor. Yeah. Remember honor. Remember honor.
Oh my God.
Remember honor. Even at this tempo, 70 would take so long.
So long. Like, he's probably there for like 90 minutes.
Oh, it's on the cheek. I know it's on the cheek named by any other name. I'm not saying that they kiss him on the lips. I'm just saying it's just so long. It's not like, I'm not saying that it's like scandalous or anything. Mm-hmm. It's just 70 makes it hilarious. Mm-hmm. It honestly, if it was like 10 people, it would be a totally normal thing. That's not even that weird to me. I worked in an Italian restaurant that was owned by Italians that would fly in every now and then. Getting kissed on the cheek by a bunch of people in a row, it just happens. But when it says 70, it's just so funny.
It's so...
To like imagine a line of 70 women.
Yeah.
Like, a line of 70 women is a massive amount of people to be outside being like, one at a time, we're gonna kiss Rand on the cheek. It just cracked me up.
Oh, no, it is tea.
Yeah, it's tea.
Yeah. People in chat were saying that it's booze.
I mean, that might be what they call tea in the Aiel.
No,
the Aiel are weird.
They say it's bitter tea.
Yeah, but...
Chat was saying it was booze, and I was like, did I read that wrong? But no.
But no, it's just that the 70... cracked me up so hard.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he goes, he has this bracelet, and he goes and he gives it to Aviendha, who's like outside, like beating the rugs very violently.
Yeah, and then he runs into the wise women, no, let's talk about her first. I wanted to get to this, my favorite part of this, but Aviendha is like, they think that you'd be good for me.
Yeah,
what do I do with it?
They gave you approval to court me. And Rand is like, oh crap, okay, well I'll go tell them it was a mistake. And she's like, are you an idiot? You're trying to fuck with my life? Oh my God. Like,
yeah, he is.
Yeah.
But yeah. I did appreciate her being like, I don't know what to do with this. And he's like, it's a bracelet, you wear it. And she's like, like, this is the angriest I've ever read or seen or heard someone put a bracelet on. Yeah.
But also, this part was where Aviendha, I think, was, like, at her softest. Because she actually had, like, she's, like, very clearly conflicted about what's happening in this moment. Because I think she likes Rand, which is why she's rude to him, right?
Yeah.
Right? And also because Elayne, I mean, that makes it complicated. And she thinks that, like, for a Wetlander... the women have, like, absolutely no power, right?
Well, yeah, she's like, I don't want a Wetlander to get me wet. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what she wants. She wants a nice Aielman.
She thinks that if she got together with Rand, that she would have no power and no say, basically. Because the way that she talks about women Wetlanders is that they are useless, basically. And so, reading this, it was so interesting to just see the, like, slight softening of Aviendha because she's been so harsh this entire time.
And then she says, you know nothing, Randall Thor. It is very much...
She's a redhead, she's a warrior.
I was about to say Tigraine, but that's Rand's mom.
No.
What is, oh my God, what is
Egret.
her... Egret. Yeah. Egret. That's the Ig?
Egret, yeah.
If you want to understand my dyslexia, the Igs and the two names made them the same name in my brain.
Here's the thing, y'all. Rand has the Maiden of the Spear stamp of approval.
He does, yeah.
He does.
He's been branded by so many different things.
He's just covered in brands.
So then he goes to talk to the wise ones.
He's bad at branding.
And this is my favorite thing, where he's like, Aviendha's beating up some rugs. And they're like, yeah. And he's like, did you tell her to say sorry? And they're like, no. And he's like, okay, well, I know that she's your spy. And they're like, yeah, she's our spy. And he's like, cool. They're like, do you want us to tell her to stop spying on you? And he's like, no.
No, it's fine.
No, let's keep this going.
At least I know how you're spying on me.
I just love how open this conversation is where he's like, oh, yeah, she's spying on me for you. And they're like, yes. And he's like, okay, cool. Let's just keep this up. Cool. This is good.
Thanks.
This
good
works
talk.
For me.
Good talk. And then we find out, though, once he falls asleep, right? Or we'll talk about the dream first.
Yeah.
But he does find out that they're spying on him in his dreams.
Yeah. But first we get to a dream where...
we get to a spicy dream.
We get the naked ladies.
Yeah, naked ladies swimming. Very sexy.
At first there's 3 naked ladies.
Uh-huh. And then there's one.
4 naked ladies.
Well, 4.
And then there's one naked lady.
Yeah.
Because Lanfear comes to him fully nude in a dream.
Yeah, Lanfear is like, you think I'm going to let you cheat on me in your dreams? Which is super weird because...
Which is the most TikTok girlfriend thing I've ever heard. You cheated on me in your dreams?
No, that's like the, like, you know, the, like, Tumblr girl meme who's like... Yeah. That's...
She's so funny.
Yeah.
Her YouTube channel is hilarious.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
The weird thing that I got was Lanfear is like, yeah, other people can borrow you for a while, but you're mine. But now she's like mad about it.
They can borrow his presence, but they can't sleep with him.
Oh.
He does not. She needs to cockblock him hard.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lanfear, I'm sorry. You
Twice the heron, twice the dragon, and 70 times the maiden. That's right, Dark Chunky. Yeah, so Lanfear's like, no, you cannot cheat on me in your dreams. Mm-hmm. And then she wraps her naked body around his body. And then a blur shows up, and that blur is a Forsaken.
The blur is like talking.
And I was like, wait, are we watching Smallville? Oh, in Smallville, Clark Kent's superhero name isn't Superman. He goes by the red blue blur, and then he's known as the Blur because he can't fly in Smallville until the very end of the show, and so he just runs really fast in the red and blue shirt, and so he's just known as the Blur. For like 5 or 6 seasons of that show.
All right, cool.
And so when they were like the Blur showed up, I was like, wait, Clark Kent? Is Tom Welling in Wheel of Time? What is happening?
I didn't know that was a crossover.
But they meant there's like a literal like blur, which I think it reminded me of when Egwene was dreamwalking in the stone, and like the people in the real world were flickering in and out. So I wonder if this was a Forsaken that was awake dreamwalking. Like I wonder if there's Forsaken who can dreamwalk while awake, because that's horrifying, right?
Yep.
And I found the like blur aspect of this really interesting, and like I wanted to know why everyone else is physical in the dream world, but this one guy isn't. Yeah.
But this is the moment that she mentions Gideon.
Yeah.
Which that's I'm calling that. That's what I think is going on in Terabon?
Terabon?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Tenchiko.
I was there's too many T words. There's Tyr, Terabon, Tenchiko, Tyrene. I can't. Too many T words. I can't keep them all straight.
Yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, you're really gonna like just like you're just gonna like be in here having dream sex with Rand. And Rand is just like floating in this lake watching this conversation. And I wish the POV had focused more on Rand being like, the fuck is happening?
Yeah. But he wakes up.
Yeah.
And he realizes he's like, I'm not alone. And Aviendha is just sitting in there like just watching.
I like to watch you sleep, Rand.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I understand what the wise women are doing, right? They can't get into his dream tonight because the Forsaken are there.
Yeah.
And so they're like, you have to go watch him because something bad is happening.
Yeah.
At the same time, he doesn't trust you, and doing this really borks that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because this is the moment that Aviendha tells him that they're spying on his dreams.
Yeah.
Which is not going to go over well. Like, he's already so paranoid about Moraine.
Thing, in a way.
Well, yes.
Because he is in danger in the dream world.
But I don't think he's going to see it that way, right?
Like, he's got a big old hickey right now. He's literally bleeding from a bite mark. Well, and what's so interesting is that Lanfear bites him on the neck, and when they get outside and the Drakkar bites
the
Gyshin in the neck.
Wait, are we
it was a weird
blood? Like,
it was an interesting parallel.
Yeah.
Yeah, between those two bites.
That was interesting.
Aviendha reveals some stuff, and he's like, these freaking women.
And he's like, wait, it feels like evil.
Yeah. And this is where I want to talk about the Drakkar. Because in the first book, the Drakkar are idiot Batmen that fly around. And in this, they are musically seducing bat people.
No, they are that in book 2 as well, when it gets to Moraine. The Drakkar that we see in book 1 are only from very far away, right? They're flying overhead. They don't attack. They don't come near. And then the first time we get close to a Drakkar... That's fair. It might be the
proximity of the sounds.
Yeah. The first time we get close to a Drakkar is when Moraine almost very nearly dies when she's visiting those sisters and getting her level ups.
Yeah, and the Drakkar there does paralyze her somehow,
right? It does, yes. It full paralyzes her. And Rand says if you...
Lan has... Or, is it not Lan? the warder has to save her, right?
One of the warders of the.
That's I had forgotten about that. You're right.
Yeah.
So it must have just been the proximity of the Drakkar and the sky in the first book.
Yeah, because they were
song thing.
They were just flying around and like spying, basically.
That's a good point.
Right?
No, you're right. I'm wrong. I was wrong at the beginning of this episode. When I'm wrong, I'm willing to be wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just not wrong about the threesomes.
Yeah, it was one of those things where we got to see. We got to see like how dangerous they are, right?
Yeah.
Because it has the like siren song or whatever, and it just lures you in and kills you. And Rand is like, if I wasn't in the void, I recognize what would have happened to me, and I would have just been fucked.
Well, and I love the concept of Rand is safe because in the void, the song can't get to him.
Yeah, he like shields himself.
I
somehow.
really enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. Like, no, he doesn't shield himself. You know how when he's in the void, he's like thoughts exist, but they're too far away to touch.
Right.
The song is there, like he hears it, but it's too far away to touch him.
Yeah.
And it's just like the flame. I don't even think it's the power, right? I think it's literally like that intense concentration of the void that his dad taught him. Not the power, but that Tam taught him is his defense against the Drakkar. I like that. I like that it's not a magical solution to this. I like that it's this like intense inner concentration that he holds on to so strongly that can't get into him.
Yeah.
I think that's
cool.
really cool.
I didn't even think about it that way. I just assumed because he was embracing the power that that he was like somehow like immune to it. But yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah, I really loved it.
Yeah, so there's two Drakkar, those get killed. There's Trollocs that kind of attack on the outskirts of the city.
But that's just a distraction to get. It's
just a distraction
to Rand.
Yeah, they're trying to kill Rand, and the Trollocs and the Drakkar being like in the threefold land like this is really unheard of, and it's worrisome. And so Rand is like, you know what? I know we were gonna wait a month. We're not gonna wait a month anymore. People who arrive there after are just gonna have to deal with it. Yeah. I'm not gonna shame them. Like
if I dishonor them, I'm sorry, but we gotta move.
Yeah, he's like, we are changing traditions because we have necessity, and that it is what it is.
And because there's only 8 chapters left in the book.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we'll end up getting to the Golden Bowl for the end. That'll be Rand's.
I think there's gonna be a huge battle at the Golden Bowl.
Oh.
I think it's gonna be a big old fight.
Between Trollocs?
Don't know yet.
Okay.
Don't know yet. There's gonna be a big battle at the Golden Bowl. There's gonna be a big battle at Emond's Field, and there's going to be something terrible is gonna happen in Tenchico.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think the girls are fucked.
I think one of them gets adomed, and that's the end of the book. I think there's gonna be a cliffhanger at the end of this book.
Yeah, I'm.
Because he's never really done a cliffhanger before.
Not anything like big. No.
Yeah, the everything kind of ends in all the books. I think there's gonna be a cliffhanger at the end of this book. I'm getting the feeling that we're headed towards a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Matt's coming. Matt went into that Trolloc fight with his spear.
Yeah.
But no hat, y'all. Matt did not have his hat on during the Trolloc fight.
Well, because I think didn't he have to take it off? Don't you have to like approach a hold with your face shown?
Yeah, but you can have a hat on.
I guess I don't know.
He's not walking into the hold like this with it.
But
that's the end of the podcast. We got through the whole thing, which means it's time for High Low. This is a segment that came from my dinner table with my family. We were talking about our highs and our lows. We'd celebrate our highs and commiserate over each other's lows. The way we do this is Klaus does her high, I do my low. She does her low, I do my high, so that we can compliment sandwich this bish. So, Clarus, because I like it when you go first. What's your high?
There's honestly a lot in this section that I really, really like. But I think my overall high is actually the Rand-Aviendha relationship.
Interesting,
and
okay.
How that changes from the beginning of the section to the end of the section. The moments where it softens, that I'm just finding really fascinating reading, and like with how it's being written. Yeah. That's very interesting. I did not expect that. My high is... No, you're low.
Right, my low. My low's easy. I have never liked the explanation of the politics of the White Tower, and so that aspect of Chapter 47 still doesn't work for me. Yeah. I liked a lot of Chapter 47, but the politics of the White Tower stuff, Lona Boy says, please comment on the chapter 51 chapter icon before you leave. Thank you for that super chat. We will.
Thank you for the super chat. What do you mean icon?
I'm the one at the top of the page. Well, I'll pull it up before.
What?
Milo, I don't like the way the podcast, or the podcast, sorry, I'm reading. I don't like the way the White Tower's politics function. It's just never made enough sense to me, and that's fine. I like
it fell apart, so it doesn't matter.
It's just kind of been the one thing consistently in the first time we went there, the second time we went there. Every time we've been to the White Tower, I've just kind of been like, okay, I don't really get it. And so that's fine. But yeah, that's my low.
Yeah, my low is similarly that section.
Mm-hmm.
Just how odd that it felt, and that Gawyn making the wrong choice. You know, I've really liked Gawyn. Like, I just thought he was like...
I like him making that choice. I just don't... It makes me sad for the character.
It makes me sad.
Yeah.
So that's my low.
It's definitely super interesting that he makes that choice, and I can't wait to see what that does to him.
Yeah.
Because Gawyn has kind of been like a... He's a kind of a nothing character. He's like...
I liked him.
Between Elayne and Galad and him, he's the least interesting one up until now, and now he competes with them in terms of story interest for me.
Fair enough.
But I agree. If that's your low, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, like...
No, that's fine. You can, like... We can disagree on how, like, that doesn't matter.
My high is Perrin and Faile in this.
Really?
Yeah, I just loved it. I loved it so much. They're gonna be a power couple in a way that I really hope Berlain never messes that up. I love Perrin and Faile so much, and I just really enjoyed them that whole section together. I thought they Perrin's stubborn, and he needs a woman like Faile at his side to get shit done, and they do, and it really worked for me.
Yeah, because when they work together and they get shit done, it works, you know? Like, it's great.
Gawyn
really
has
nice.
middle child syndrome, 1,000% he does.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a very good call. All right, okay, the chapter 51 logo.
It's right here.
Oh! Do you know what it is?
No. Oh, it's the Sanchin helmet.
What else is it?
A skull.
This is the chapter 51 logo for those of you watching.
It's the Sanchin helmet.
I can't believe I see it and you don't.
I've never once looked at the chapter icons.
It's a womb.
What do you mean it's a womb?
It's women's genitals. These are the fallopian tubes, this is the womb, and this is the vagina. It's drawn in the shape of a womb.
I mean, the fallopian tubes don't go up.
I mean, they go, like, out and up a little bit. A little bit. It's an interpretation of a womb.
It's a bit of a stretch, but it's a Sanchin helmet.
Oh, it's definitely a bug logo as well. It's a Sanchin helmet, but it's a womb.
Okay.
That's what it's supposed to look like. All right. Let's do some
QR code.
Let's do some housekeeping, and then we'll get into the smut corner. Housekeeping. If you want to join the many millions of people who listen to books, they hear them with their ear holes. You can go over to audibletrial.com/nerdynightly and use our code, which is just going to that website. It's not a code. You just go to audibletrial.com/nerdynightly, get yourself a free month of Audible and a free audiobook on us. Clarisse, can you recommend a non-Wheel of Time book that you think Wheel of Time people would like?
Aragon. It's my favorite.
Listen to Aragon by Christopher Paolini.
It's my freaking favorite. I've read that book like 30 times.
I'm sure it's available on Audible.
Yeah,
we probably should have checked before I said that. Yeah. Go listen to Aragon on Audible using audibletrial.com/nerdynightly. Audible, that's where you can hear books.
Yes, that's where you can hear books.
Also, y'all, don't forget that the discussion or the questions Discord channel is going to be open until Wednesday.
No, potentially.
Well, no, but I want to give them time to put thoughts there this week up until Wednesday. We will let you know Monday or Tuesday if we're going to use them.
Oh.
But I don't want them to have like 24 hours, right? So I'm saying like...
Well, they won't. It will let people know Tuesday morning. So they'll have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
But we're going to have to record on Thursday at some point. We don't know what our shooting schedule is. So if there's anything in the next 8 chapters that you really want us to talk about, make sure that's in the questions by Wednesday. The show might be live next week. We're just not sure yet until we know how the internet in Jamaica works.
The internet in Jamaica is a big question mark. We will let you guys know as soon as possible. I do apologize. It's kind of last minute because we just don't know.
We don't know.
Unfortunately. And then the following week is our special Star Wars Celebration episode.
Yeah, with Dark Choco.
So, we would love if you would check that out as well.
And a segment that we won't do at Star Wars Celebration. Clarus, where would you add a sex scene this week?
Oh, man. Yeah, Disney would not be very happy with us if we did Smut Corner live.
We're not allowed. We've been told we're not allowed.
Yeah. God, there's so many good places. Mm-hmm. Like, Perrin and Faile definitely need to bone down if they haven't already. Do you think they bone down?
No, not yet.
No, you don't think so? Okay.
No, they will, but not yet.
Yeah. They need to...
If he hadn't been hurt that night, maybe, but... You know?
Yeah, after he's like, no, you don't have to dance for me. Mm-hmm. I love you.
I would definitely say when Rand gets to the House of the Maidens of the Spear and he like peeks his head in the window, he's like,
they're all just like,
yeah. $1 beans, y'all.
$1 beans. Yeah, that like they definitely need to make sure that they have lots of what is it called, the Gaishan, cleaning up that space because it is probably
so gross.
Very dirty. The housekeeping is
all
working
of the dreams
overtime.
All the dreams. Rand with all the ladies. Lanfear getting the sloppy seconds after his foursome with his girls, like.
Wow, all of the dreams. So you think Perrin and Slayer?
I mean, he looks like Lan.
Perrin and like a look-alike Lan. I'm into it. I'm just saying. All of the dream sequences.
All of them. Everyone. Oh, Ruark coming home to his two wives. That
you know you've been they away. Went at it that night.
You've been away. Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah. Shade of my heart.
Oh, 1,000%.
Also, like we didn't really talk about it, but the like almost kiss between Matt and Isindre.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
We're gonna find out what the hell is up with those people this week.
Those
right?
Caravanners, they're
the bad news.
They're sus.
Bad news. Bears.
Yeah, bad news. Mm-hmm.
And do you have any more?
No.
Yeah, there's a lot of like trauma in the Perrin stuff, so like it's hard to add stuff there. Agianin and like the girls is too like. No. There's nothing there.
No.
And in the White Tower stuff, it's really weird to even try.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
There's no time. The White Tower stuff literally immediately starts with, like, tragedy.
Yeah, the Rand stuff is the best room because they're just traveling. It's pretty chill. I think, honestly, like, there's someone who's, like, into the Drakkar, right? Someone's into that vampirism. Someone wants to get bit.
Oh, my God.
You know?
Worth it. Freaking worth it.
Yeah, I mean, there are humans that drink each other's blood. It's super weird.
Yep.
And on cannibalism, that's where we're going to end today's show.
Great. I love that.
If you like the show, like and subscribe. Please hit the like
video,
button.
Please.
If you don't, that's fine. We totally understand. Leave me in comments down below. The algorithm god is hungry. We must feed her. Mm-hmm. You can also follow us around the internet. I'm at Nerdy Nightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
I can't believe we ended with cannibalism. Do something nerdy tonight.
I can.